Good afternoon, New Hampshire. This is NewHampshireTrackandField.com, powered by Runner's Alley, coming to you from the 2019 Merrimack Invitational. We have some of our field events already underway. We're taking a look at the boys pole vault to start. Speaking of starting, today I'm joined with by Evan Tangway to start, and Jim Mckenzie will be joining us momentarily once the track events get started. We can see that the boys pole vault is already up to 10 feet, and we'll start trying to get a feel for the action. And he's over, up and over 10 feet. Good clearance. Not a lot of bend going up, so we'll see how that translates at a little bit higher heights. But again, some of these vaulters have that ability of just vaulting to the height. Other field events underway currently. We have the girls shot put, girls javelin, and girls triple jump. The boys have long jump, high jump, and discus underway. We'll be seeing those kind of as we're floating around the track. Of course, we do primarily follow the track. Track events will start at 4:45 with the 110 hurdles semifinals. We see now we have a Portsmouth athlete on the runway.
If you wish to warm up, do so on the south end on the track, not on the north side of the infield. The infield must be completely cleared of all non-essential personnel.
A lot of times, pole vault is one of those mental games where you're just trying to shut your mind off and rely on your training. Good bend, but it looked like he might have rushed it just a bit there.
He didn't look like he had enough drive going up, so when he tried to turn, he just kind of clipped it up top. But you're looking at some of the best pole vaulters in the state from all divisions. It's the top 12 in the state that got in, and so we have a couple schools really represented by a couple athletes, and then there's some schools that only have one or two. But like I said, we are looking at some of the best pole vaulters in the state. So if anyone else is watching and does pole vault, take some notes on some of these guys because, like I said, these are some of the best.
Of course, Evan, you're a long-distance runner, but trust me, he's been hanging out. He just got back to New Hampshire. He's been hanging out pole vault nonstop. His brother does pole vault. He's pretty familiar with it, more familiar than your average distance runner. As we see a crazy-looking attempt, but it works.
That was definitely something to to work on, but it worked for him. So, but yeah, I got back this past week, and I know my brother's been doing it for the last couple of years. So I kind of started to look at some of it. My dad sends me kind of some videos of the different athletes, and I've been kind of learning through the videos and some stuff I've been looking up on YouTube, and so it's been kind of neat to be able to coach and help out with another event because when you do the same event all the time, you know enough about that. But for someone like myself who wants to coach, it's good to know about multiple events. And so that's why I really do and kind of embrace coaching at pole vault or helping at pole vault when I can.
Looks like they're making a little bit of a standard adjustment now. Of course, those standards can move forward and backward depending on the athlete preference. And with pole vault, once the bar goes up, it never drops down in height, so everything is going up. I believe at this point they're probably going to be going by 6-inch increments. I think they've, looks like they're moving it to 10.6 now. So we will have our first attempts at 10.6. Like you said, 12 qualify. We actually had 13 in it for the guys today, just because that was a clean cut right there. So instead of going 11, they did opt to go with 13. And we'll see a number of guys drop out of this pretty early, as we definitely saw at least 2 athletes drop at that height. I hadn't been watching it prior, so I'm not sure who exactly is left at this time.
And we have the guys going first to start at 4 o'clock, and it's going to roll through. Going to go through the first set, and then the top 8 is going to go into finals. And it looks like we have a Co-Brown athlete, Sam Pattison, on the runway. And almost had it. Just clipped it with his hip on his way up. not the greatest turn, but he could definitely focus on that a little bit more, but not a bad one to start.
Yeah, and that comes to really show you just it's the overall muscles in your body. Basically, to me, what I saw right there was a little bit of a breakdown with his arms where he wasn't able to get that full extension away from the pole.
And I know for me, when I first started kind of looking at pole vault and seeing different things, there's a lot more technique than the general person might think there is when it comes to pole vault and a lot of these other individual sports. You kind of, once you're actually involved with it, you see that there's a lot more than what meets the eye. For pole vault example, he's running up right now. You got to have plenty of speed. Right there, he didn't have enough speed, let alone he didn't have enough drive up. You work on that. Those are the fundamentals, and from there, that's when you got to work on the technique of twisting at the top and at the right time. So there's a lot more to it than just a basic run and you hope the pole gets you over.
I believe that was Samuel Epstein of Merrimack, freshman. One of 2 freshmen entered in this today.
As well as a running event going concurrently. The athlete must check out the field event that they're currently engaged in, notify the officials that I'm leaving the event to go do my running event.
Hard to see from here. Looks like that might be a Concord athlete. Can you tell, Evan?
It looks like it could be a Concord athlete. We'll see
Yeah.
in about a second. Yep, it looks like it's a Concord athlete on the runway.
Pretty sure that's the senior, Hunter Robinson.
And that right there just looked like he didn't have enough speed going into it.
No, a few coaches who might cringe at the way that he let go like that. Typically, I believe you're taught to hold on to your pole even on a bad one where you have to bail out. But he landed clean in the mat, so should be okay there. And again, I think that was Hunter. Next up, this looks like from Sauhegan, probably Luke Elledge Jr. taking his run up now. Not terrible looking form. I think I'd want him to be a little bit faster. If it was one of my athletes, that's definitely the first thing I would mention to him. I was trying to get that speed up, but again, I don't know what his potential and his capacity is for speed. Next up, we have another Concord athlete.
All runners should be at the start area.
Good chance that's Alex Jr. He's looking pretty aggressive. Should have some good speed.
And that right there wasn't a bad vault. He definitely could have got a little bit more speed, but his speed wasn't too bad. And it's just kind of minor adjustments for him just to get over that last little hump right there.
Yeah, you watch just the way he is on the runway before he takes off. You know, he's firing those muscles, which tells me, you know, he had a quick snap with his legs, which tells me he's emphasizing the speed. So that could be a coaching thing. And again, it could also be a coaching technique where the coach is saying, hey, we really need to work on this aspect of it. But a lot of times when you're on a runway for that, whether it be long jump, triple jump, high jump, or pole vault, it's, you know, the athletes will always get into some type of rhythm with it and how they feel comfortable just starting. Because the key there is consistency. You always want to have a consistent run-up. And it does look like we are going to be transitioning over to the track now. We have our boys semifinals of the 110 hurdles set to start in just a couple of minutes. So we can see them already over there ready to go.
Your meet commander is an administrator at Exeter High School, Mike Monahan.
So again, we see those guys ready by their blocks, just kind of shaking around, staying loose, waiting on the start again. We are set start in just 1 or 2 minutes. In the background, of course, we can see that high jump is already underway. That bar looks like it's already getting up there pretty high.
Looks like it'd be nice if they spun that right to you. Maybe I'll go do that for you.
Joined with me now is Jalesa, former sprinter for Co-Brown. Helps out, does all those interviews. We see her on camera all the time now. Doesn't have any interviews yet because no winners yet. So, Jalesa, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right. So, got some nice fast action for us here today. What are you doing to stay warm, stay loose when you're waiting on the start? As we do see the starter grab the starting gun.
Just keep moving. It's nicer than it has been. So just jump around, stay loose. I used to like smack my legs, keep my muscles loose.
We see our athletes backing into their block. Set. Good start.
They're off.
We'll see with hurdlers, a lot of times they pop their head up right away to see that first hurdle. And it looks like this first heat should not be contested very easily. Or
He blew them out.
yes, he did. So we'll take a look at results from that if we can. That would be Spencer from Pinkerton with the win at 14:66. The way these are seeded is that we'll have our heats kind of staggered just like that. So we'll see in the semifinals, the fastest ones should be on the inside and get kind of a flying V effect. And then for finals, it will end up being the same way, but a little bit closer of a race.
Yeah, he didn't really have any competition on that one.
So in Heat 2, we can see that we have Cunningham from North, Choi from Pinkerton, Durkin from Portsmouth, Feliz from Concord, Kenny from Memorial, Poulin from Exeter, and West from Merrimack. And I do expect Feliz to go out and win this one. He is our second fastest athlete overall today. Adam Spencer, who's in the first heat, has his time beat just by a little bit.
So looking at lane 4. Please.
Yep. Starter will give him plenty of time to get ready in between right now. Again, we are at the 2019 Merrimack Invitational. This is NewHampshireCrossCountry.com, powered by Runner's Alley. We see our starter has given the first command as the boys go ahead and back into their blocks.
Oh. Yeah.
So we'll have our athletes get reset there. Not 100% sure. Oh, it does look like there was a false start out of lane 7 there. Again, today we have 2 officials there. So basically the starter fired the gun. The other one watching it, back judge, kind of saw the false start and did happen to disqualify our athlete in lane 7.
Backing into blocks again.
Good start. And we can already see right away that Feliz is out in front. Doesn't look like he's going all out right now. Might be saving a little bit for the finals.
It definitely doesn't need to go all out.
No.
Easy win.
Nice and smooth. Make sure he advances on.
15:54.
And we do hear that winning time there would be 15:54 by Feliz from Concord. Next up was Kenny from Memorial at 16:04. Durkin in 17:11 as they continue to read the picture. Again, that is Lancer timing on the infield, providing us with the instantaneous results. As soon as they read the picture, we are seeing those results on screen. Can thank Lancer timing for that. Also have links at the facility today. They're doing a little bit of testing, so we'll see if we can get any access to any of the results, but they're doing a little bit of split action with some of the runners and the distance events.
Did you hurdle?
I hurdled for decathlon. It was not pretty. I have no form, but I have really good speed in between. I was able to three-step, which we're seeing most of these boys do now, which really helps. And I was fast enough to make it work. We have Cruz from Memorial, Campbell from Portsmouth, Perry from North, Bailey from Merrimack, Hatch from Dover, and DeCosta from Alvern, set and ready to go in our third section. Good start. This one looks to be a little bit closer as you would imagine. However, our lane 4 does appear to be fastest right now.
Starting to pull away a little.
Believe that would be Perry from North.
Yep.
And we see him coming across at 15:62. Bailey very close behind him, 15:92. Hatch from Dover at 17:16. So a little bit of a drop there.
And looks like putting the hurdles down for the girls.
Yep, so that should be the conclusion of it. So we should get a pretty clean cut at who is in finals there. Looked like there wasn't going to be any close battles. It will be exciting to see finals. I think first and second will be a good battle. Third and fourth might be a good battle as well. Again, hard to tell this early because some of those kids were not running all out, just enough to make sure they get to the finals.
Gold marks and put them down 2. Hurdle crew, please move the hurdles to the gold girls marks and set them down 2.
So next on the track is the girls' 100-meter hurdles. We have Barham from Souhegan, lane 1. Pierce from Exeter, lane 2. Davey from Merrimack in lane 3. Lewis from South in lane 4. Bomba from Alvern, lane 5. And Fletcher from Memorial, lane 6. Plant from Salem in lane 7.
Davey, Merrimack, from Nashville South.
Still be another minute or so as the hurdles have to get moved. Girls and guys do slightly different distances in between the hurdles as well as distances overall. Guys do 110 meters with it, girls do 100 meters, and a lot of that just has to do with stride length and things like that. Because, again, it's a lot of times we'll see the stronger athletes go for that 3-step, but a lot of times it will be a struggle for them to get there or to figure it out. It takes a bit of time, even for the more experienced hurdlers. It'll take a year or two with some of them. Some of it will happen naturally. I know, like, if we were to have you do some hurdles.
I don't think it would work out that well.
I don't think it would, but I think once we got you to go over the hurdle, you'd be 3-stepping no problem just because of your speed.
Yeah, I don't know. I got short legs.
This is true. This is true.
Maybe if I had practice. It probably would have taken a lot of practice, though.
Of course, sprinter and jumper, so filled up with events with relays, so no real need for you to try hurdles.
No.
That being said, typically when you look at good hurdle programs, what they do is they actually take the fastest athletes and throw them at the hurdles because you can coach technique. It's a lot harder to take someone who isn't very fast and make them incredibly fast. Obviously, we can always make kids a little bit faster, but it's easier to teach technique than it is to teach speed.
Right.
So, a very prominent Massachusetts hurdles coach taught me that a few years ago, that he just takes all his fastest girls and figures out who can actually do it. Pretty nice conditions here today in Merrimack.
It is really nice out.
Favorable for the sprinters early on, and I'm sure as the sun starts to set, it will cool down a little bit, which will favor more the distance-type runners.
I'm just glad it's not raining with the other meets.
Yeah, I feel like this is our first dry meet all year.
It definitely is. At least the ones that I've been to.
Our first set of finalists, boys 110 hurdles. Your 8 boys that made the finals are.
Looks like our hurdles are all set. And zeros on the clock is telling the starter that we are good to go. So again, we're looking at lane 4 to win this one, most likely.
Lewis.
From Nashua North, Nasir Perry. From Concord, Manolo Feliz. And then the penthouse swim, the time of 14.66 seconds. From Pickett Academy, senior.
That is the senior Sydney Lewis in lane 4 as they get on their mark. Good start.
To be contested a little while later.
A little high over the hurdle, and she kind of just floats with it, though, and has some good speed in between.
This first heat of ladies hurdles.
Definitely a little bit higher than what I like, but overall very smooth. Same could be said about the rest of that heat. Looked pretty good, as we do see our times come onto screen now. We have Sydney Lewis from South in 16:21, Bamba from Malvern 16:71, Plant from Salem at 17:15. Couple good battles as we keep looking at that clock, 17:21, 17:31. Pretty close. Typically at the speed they're going at, a hundredth of a second ends up being about the width of the hip number, is what I have found. So that really goes to show you just how close or how far these athletes actually are. As we do start to get ready for section 2 of, I would imagine, 3 again for the girls. Could be 4.
I think looks like 3.
Might be 4. I know there's a few more girls in this than there were guys in it. As we do see our first heat or second heat here, we have St. Pierre from North, Weeks from Portsmouth, McClare from Exeter, Rojoko from Salem, Allen from Campbell, Kelly from Londonderry, and Smith in there as well. Pretty close right now between Salem and Exeter.
Good battle.
Salem has a slight edge, but
Ooh.
right there, that one hurdle.
Yeah.
It does go to Exeter in lane 3.
Lost her form there for a second.
So that was McClare from Exeter in 16.20. Salem second at 16.47. Londonderry 16.86. And you might be right. Looks like there might only be one more heat. I think there were 24 girls entered, so that definitely means not everyone.
Is competing.
Yeah, I don't think we've had full lanes yet.
Heat 3, Desanis, Merrimack, Olivia Nazarol, National North,
So speaking of full lanes, now it looks like we will have it. Desanis from Merrimack, Mazarul from North, Kozik from Portsmouth, Graves from Pinkerton, Laga from Londonderry, Ruth from Timberlane, Vale from Memorial, and Brackett from Cole Brown. And they just really want to give me all the tough names all in one heat as the girls are in their blocks.
Did better than I would have. They're off.
Good start. Ooh, tough hurdle from our lane 4 athlete. Lane 5, Londonderry looking pretty strong, though, as it looks like it should be her all the way down. Clean last hurdle, and just a little bit of a lead, not quite. So that was Lanja from Londonderry in 16.73, Ruth from Timberlane, 17.58, Kozik from Portsmouth, 17.75, 17.89 next time. So those times all relatively close within each other, and we do look like we're transitioning into the boys. So on to the dashes. So again, boys will take a minute or two to set their blocks, get comfortable with it as we see the hurdles being moved off of the track.
Hurdle crew, jettison the hurdles from the track and put them all the way down. Make your way around the insides of the track on the white box for the 300 hurdles.
It's finally a good day to get a good time. That's a good competition.
Yes.
Compared to the other bigger meets, so sprinters got to be excited.
A little bit of a cool breeze today. See if we can't figure out how much of an impact it's having on them. Again, we do have live results today, and that's not just on the track. That's going to be at the field events as well. We'll try and highlight field events as we see them. But if you want to stay up to date on the meet as we're going, you can go ahead and look at the latest completed heat, latest completed event. All of that stuff can be found on our meet hub, which links directly over to Lancer Timing. So either way, a couple different ways to find it.
Remember that one time I beat your sister's record, but they didn't count it because of the wind?
So again, with wind, you need to make sure it's a legal wind. We are taking some wind measurements today. Illegal wind, I believe, is a 2-meter wind, a tailwind, 2-meter tailwind. So anything at that point or above, it will be considered illegal and will not count for any type of record. Headwind, fair game. That's just working harder. So,
Yeah.
but too much of a wind at their back, it really does start to make that influence. And of course, as the athletes run by, you'll be able to see the wind gauge is at the 50-meter mark. It's used for all of our sprint events. Not using distance events because if you're going all the way around the track, you're getting the same wind unless it's a swirling wind, but then it's too much to think about. As we see our first heat of boys in the blocks and taking off now.
Lane 2 had a good start. 3.
I think that's lane 3.
Sorry.
Hawks, which means that would be Merrimack. And that was Adam Thornton in 11:23. So pretty good time to start the day off. Marchand from South in 11:42. Very close behind him. Cassidy, 11:45. Cottonor from Pinkerton, 11:68. Smith, 11:88. So all pretty good times. A lot of them under that 12-second mark. We'll see how those hold up as we move through our heats. So now that we're taking a look at Heat 2, we can see that is Tim Barrett from Alvern, Jonathan from Merrimack, Jake from Londonderry, Connor from Pinkerton, Alex from Concord, Austin from North, Jacob from Memorial, and Will out in lane 8 from Salem. All these seed times look to be under that 12-second mark, so we'll see how they fare for these gentlemen. And our first command has been given. So again, we'll see the athletes back into the blocks, so not to tighten up while getting into them. Once all the athletes are still, the starter will give the set command. Good start.
Good start here in Heat
And that does look like from lane 4, Connor Pinkerton out to the early lead. Jonathan from Merrimack also with a strong start coming in for second place. We should see, again, that was Connor coming in at 11:18. John from Merrimack, 11:55. North's Olette, 11:72. So again, handful of times under that 12-second mark. Have to double check on what our wind is doing. Does look like we have a positive wind today, 1.2 in that last heat. As we see our third and final heat get into their blocks now. Lane 1, Trevor of Portsmouth. Lane 2, John from Pinkerton. 3, Riley from Salem. 4, Adam from Alvern. 5, Jack from Exeter. 6, Zach from Merrimack. 7, Nicholas from Concord. And in lane 8, Damon of Londonderry. Again, all seed times today are under that 12-second mark. Most guys should be, I'd say half at least will be under there. Good start. First 30 meters, drive face. You want to stay nice and low as we see a very close battle. It does look like Exeter is out in front. That is Jack McSweeney. And he takes it. 11:37 for him. Mulvey close behind, 11:52. Merrimack in third. That's Zach with 11:62. Close battle for fourth and fifth there.
Very close.
And with that, we are going to go ahead and move on to the girls' first section. So this time we do have 4 heats of them.
Upcoming is the girls' 100.
In this first section, we have Sierra from Pinkerton in lane 1.
Heat 1, Edgecombe
Adrian
and
from
Academy.
Alvern,
McCoy, Solo,
lane 2.
Alvern.
Ashley from Londonderry, lane 3. Autumn, lane 4. From Salem. Abby from lane 5, or in lane 5 from Portsmouth. And in lane 6, Sydney of Exeter. Lane 7, Jillian from Merrimack.
I've got that. I've not read those, but I've read these.
See them do a little bit of a stretch out as they get into their blocks. Again, making sure they stay loose, get those fast twitch muscles ready to fire. And good start again.
And the first heat of girls is underway.
Does look like Autumn is taking the lead right now.
Looks like the freshman phenom from Salem has things under control here.
And the freshman will take the first win for the girls in the 100-meter dash.
She had great
Again,
arms.
heat 1 of 4. Yeah, pretty good form.
Yeah.
18, Barnes 13:28. LaBelle
So again, that was Autumn from Salem at 12.82. So at this point now, it's looking to see who can get under that 13-second mark. I don't think a lot of these girls will. I hope they do, obviously. But pretty impressive time right there, 12.82.
Up next is heat 3.
Up next on the track is heat 2 of 4.
McCoy, National North, Vance,
We have Sophie of Londonderry, Abby of North, Mary of Merrimack, Grace of Concord. Expect her to be under that 13-second mark. Ella from Exeter, Caitlin from Memorial, and Mabel from Co-Brown. And while we do have a second, looks like we have our boys finalists set to go. So I'll read through those real quick. We have Jonathan of Merrimack, Justin of Londonderry, Jack of Exeter, Connor from Pinkerton, Adam from Merrimack, Paul from Nashua South, Riley from Salem, and Zach from Merrimack. As we do see a good start from the girls, looks like that is Grace Devaney out in front. Not laboring all too hard right now. Hard to tell because she is such a smooth runner. Might have pulled up just a hair there at the end. Let's take a look at what the clock has to tell us. She gets a 13.02, so I think she did kind of
Yeah, she
ease off.
She definitely did.
Not quite sure what Grace is doing today, but my guess is she's taking it a little bit easy right now while she can.
Because she's running lows.
Yep, just heard from Jim Mckenzie, who will be joining us shortly, that she is actually going to be going down to New York this weekend and competing at Laux.
So I think she's just running 100 and 4 by 100.
100 and 4 by 1, so an easier meet day for her.
Lux is such a good experience. It's fun.
You've been, right?
I have been a couple times.
Couple
actually.
times?
Yeah.
What'd you do down there? Just some sprinting?
I think I did the 100 and long jump. I want to say.
Okay.
It's fun.
I don't think I ever went with you.
No.
That's
you missed out on that one.
Too long of a trip for me to go with you.
Yeah, to do with us.
Yeah. So we see heat 3 of 4 now onto the track. That is Emma from Salem in lane 1, Angie from South in lane 2, Winnie from Memorial, lane 3, Johanna from Merrimack, lane 4, Maddie from Portsmouth, lane 5, Megan from Pinkerton, lane 6, Samantha from Concord in lane 7, as we do have a good start. Pretty close. Looks like the early lead probably from Winnie of Memorial, although it does look like Johanna, hometown athlete, might have come away with the win there, and it does look like she did with a time of 13:15. Ricard of Portsmouth, 13:26, and Memorial third, 13:32, close behind 13:33. So another good battle there. Again, we have 4 heats of the girls, so a little bit harder to make it into the finals. I'm not sure what we're doing for advancement today with the sprints. It's got to be at least winners, and then my guess with the 4 heats is probably winners and then the next 4 fastest times today.
Looks like is Lewis doubling back for the 100.
What's the advancement
Yep.
on the sprints?
Is that Lewis?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sydney Lewis coming back from her hurdle performance. She should have qualified pretty easily in that. So, again, looking to be one of the favorited girls today, especially if Grace is taking it a bit easy. As we enter this 4th heat, we can see lane 1, Caitlin of Souhegan, 2, Sarah from Concord, 3, Hannah from Pinkerton, Sydney is in lane 4 from South, Eli, Portsmouth lane 5. As we see the girls take off now. Actually, a pretty good start out of Ellie of Portsmouth. And wins that pretty easily.
Yeah.
So that was Ohaman in 12:79. Waite from Concord, 13:05. Lewis getting a 13:06. We'll see if that 100th of a second comes back to bite her. I still think that is one of the faster times we've seen today. Not a lot of the girls have had a 13.0 anything, so that should be enough. We'll see how it does shake down.
So it sounds like winner of each heat and then the next 4 fastest times.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Of course, that would be 5 on the guys' side where there was only 3 heats. So.
No, I just do sprints.
So it looks like
Is it still going?
next up will be our finals for the hurdles.
Oh, it's still going on. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
We'll take another minute or 2 for that. Those to get set up. Give those athletes a little bit of a break as well. Sydney will be in that, so I'm curious to see if she actually took that 100 a little bit easier, knowing that she wants her emphasis to be on the hurdles.
Maybe as like a warm-up, some long strides.
We've done that with athletes before where we stick them in an event just to warm up.
Yeah.
From Nashua South, Sydney Lewis, and in the penthouse.
I mean, when you warm up, you probably do a couple hundreds anyway, so.
From Exeter, Camille McAleer.
So they don't need our help up here because they already have 3 people doing it. So we're going to go
Finalists for the boys, 100.
So it looks like our finalists for the girls 100-meter hurdles.
Boys 100-meter hurdles.
I think that's Tori Allen of Campbell in lane 1. Skylar Bamba of Alvern, lane 2. Nikki of Londonderry, lane 3. Camilla from Exeter, lane 4. Sydney from South in lane 5. Katya from Salem in lane 6. Sina from Londonderry, lane 7. And in lane 8, Emily of Salem. So lane 8, that's our sole freshman making it onto the finals, which will begin momentarily. Obviously, those girls have not had to report yet, just getting set up for it. Should be pretty close, though. In the favored lane right now, it actually is Camilla of Exeter. Time she ran in the prelims was a 16:20. 100th of a second behind her, which, again, is probably about the width of a hip number, would be Sydney Lewis, 16:21. So this should end up being a pretty good battle. We'll see what that 100 did for Sydney. I do expect both of those times to get improved upon.
Be a close one. Be a good race to watch.
Of course, those 2 athletes were not in the same heat, so they could have had different wind and all different factors like that. Trying, not trying, leaning, not leaning. A lot of times if you have it locked up, you're not going to lean in the prelims just because there's a number of different things that can go wrong. 99 times out of 100 they won't, but every once in a while you do see someone go for a nice somersault. Again, leaning too early is just going to slow you down. Leaning too late doesn't do a thing. However, what happens is right on the line, there's a couple cameras taking pictures. And what they do is when you read the times, you look at the upper body to grade where you're at. So from essentially the hips up to the shoulders, whatever part of you crosses first is where that time is taken from. The cameras that they're using, Lancer Timing is using, go to, I don't know. They go pretty accurate. We don't use as accurate as they are. I think they're to the 1,000th or 10,000th. I think I was looking at 10,000ths for times last week. So while we have a moment, we'll also introduce our girls finalists for the dash. From Londonderry and going to be in lane 1 would be Ashley Griffin. From Concord, Sarah Waite. From Concord again, Grace Devaney. Portsmouth's Eli. Autumn from Salem. Johanna from Merrimack. Sydney from South. And Grace from Exeter. So Sydney getting her work in pretty early today.
Back to back to back to back.
Nothing like running 400 meters in the first 2 events.
Right.
On your screen now, it does look like we can see some high jump, although looks like they might actually be in between right now.
No jumping going on
Yep.
at the moment.
Yeah, they're just measuring out steps, so it looks like the girls will be competing next, which means the boys have wrapped up. See if we can't get any results of that event for you guys. It'll probably take a few minutes as all those marks have to be entered in the computer in order to make it online.
We are now ready with the girls' 100 hurdle finals. In lane 1, from Campbell, Tori Allen. Lane 2, from Malvern, Skylar Bonga. Lane 3, from Londonderry,
Looks
Nikki
like they're
Ojua. Lane 4,
starting to set up the
Yep.
blocks, getting ready.
Lane 5, from Nashville South, Sydney Lewis.
So again, we'll take a quick look at our lane assignments.
Lane 7 from Londonderry, Shauna Kelly, and lane 8 from
Does
Salem,
not look like
Emily
Bomba
Grant.
from Alvern is present. Can't quite see if we have a lane 8. I think we do.
This
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
all competitors in the 1600-meter run, please report to the bullpen on the west
sit
end
on
of
that
the
deal.
field. All 1600-meter runners, please report to the bullpen. Boston Bruins tent, west side of the field.
Kid looks like the chipper you got
Goes into your head in between trials and finals.
Well, trials and finals are so different. The whole mental, in trials, you're not going against the fastest people. So then in finals, it's like, okay, I need to really get my head in the game. I need to have a good start out of the blocks. It's just it's so different. But just stay focused, make sure my form is good, and especially for hurdles.
So again, we have our first command as we see the girls getting into their blocks. Blocks are always interesting to me for hurdles. It really just helps with the steps because a lot of times they'll pop right up to make sure they see that hurdle coming. Hurdle doesn't move though, so it's good start.
Close one.
Yeah, Sydney Lewis. Oh, looks like she might be in second right now, actually.
Yep.
And it's going to be Katya Roachko, Salem winning it.
Yeah.
15-7-0.
And that
That was a good
was
race.
Rocho from Salem at 15.70. Lewis getting the second place mark at 15.80. McClare from Exeter at 16.16. So these were our girls finalists for the 100-meter hurdles. Have our first scored event, which means that you are going to have your first interview coming up pretty
Yes.
soon.
It's someone different, someone new to interview. It's always fun.
Then, of course, next on the track would be the boys' finals for the hurdles.
Hurdle crew, please kick up all hurdles 2 notches, please.
And taking a look down the line, that is James in lane 1 from Salem. Ryan from Memorial in lane 2. Lane 3, we have Perry of North. 4, Adam Spencer of Pinkerton. 5, Feliz from Concord. 6, Sam of Merrimack. 7, Chris from Portsmouth. And his teammate in lane 8, that is Durkin of Portsmouth again.
From Salem,
I think it was a year or two ago we had Feliz's brother on, helped us with some of our commentary. Pretty insightful. It was fun to watch him cheer on his brother as well.
lane 4 from Binghamton County, Adam Spencer.
Did he run as well?
Yes, Angel was a very successful runner in high school.
From Merrimack, lane 6, Sam Bailey.
Of course, this is Manilow, his brother.
7 and 8 are Portsmouth runners.
Both very skilled sprinters.
Durkin.
I only went to UNH.
What was your major?
Wildlife management. Yeah, and I became game warden for 24 years.
Oh, well.
Now I work for UNH.
Again, guys just setting their blocks, taking their time, staying relaxed One of the key parts for all sprints and really all the running is staying relaxed and trying to keep your body relaxed. I know I had an athlete yesterday ask how the heck you stay relaxed when you're getting in the blocks, and you know, maybe they're not used to blocks or something like that. And it's you know, each person kind of has to find what works for themselves.
Yeah. Blocks aren't easy. I remember doing it every practice, just trying to perfect them because they really do. At least for me, they helped a lot. So.
Yeah, and a lot of it too can be just a slight mental edge. If you have a really good blocks, you can feel really good about your race. Like it's Coach Jim Belanger of UNH who always says blocks don't matter just because the fastest person always wins, and typically that does happen. I know you know, you can watch some of the world's best, like Usain Bolt. He isn't going to be the fastest out of the blocks in his heats. It's all about continuing that drive phase. So you don't need to be the fastest. Trust me, if there was a 15-meter dash, I would have done phenomenal. However, you stack me up against the rest of the state, not so much. There's some great blocks, but they're only going to take you so far, and really it's all about that 30 meters, that drive phase. Key thing with the kids practicing blocks is it's not, you know, 3 steps out, good or bad block. It's go the whole drive phase, go the whole 30 meters. Get your body used to staying low like that. There's a lot of different drills you can work on to make sure you're staying low.
Yeah.
Do you see that the pole vault is up to 12.6 now? Can't quite tell how many guys are left in it at this height, but pretty good height. Other action going on. We still have our girls javelin. Our jumps are going on over across the way. High jump girls are warming up. And looks like we do not have any discus underway. It's the guys warming up currently. And looks like our starter is giving a first command. See the guys jumping around, getting ready. Again, staying loose, getting those fast twitch muscles ready to go as they back into their blocks for the finals. Adam Spencer of Pinkerton in lane 4, favored to win right now. His time coming into the finals was a 14.66. The next closest time was almost a full second back at 15.54. Different factors. Everything's cleaned out as we have a good start here, as he has really aggressive at those hurdles, and we can see he is clearly out in front, followed closely by Perry of North, and then Feliz is in third, and that is how they finish. So winning time there, 14.44, improving his mark from prelims. Perry, 14.91, also with the improvement. Feliz in third, 15.26. Bailey Merrimack, 15.86. Mood of Portsmouth in 16.15, and Kenny from Memorial, 16.27. That rounds out your top 6. Of course, high school meet, Merrimack Invitational. We are taking top 6 places for scoring. So all those 6 gentlemen have just scored for their teams. As we start to take a look at our girls getting ready for the 100-meter dash.
I don't know a lot about hurdles, but that snap he did with his leg, that was pretty cool. He's like, I don't know, way faster than
it's one of those. It's one of those events where you have to be aggressive and really attack it. If you're not attacking, you're timid. You're going to actually lean back and slow yourself down. You'll see them when they go over. They're always trying to lean forward. And really, if you get ground level with them, their head is pretty much going to be neutral the whole way. It's always going to be at that same height. Their whole body is going to be collapsing over the hurdle more or less, but their head stays pretty neutral with it. And if you have a nice linear movement with your head, it should make for a smooth run. Just heard the announcer announce interviews, which Jalesa will have to leave momentarily for. I think she's going to hang out with us for a couple more races, get these sprints done with, as we do see our finals of girls 100-meter dash getting ready to go. Again, in lane 1, Ashley Griffin of Londonderry. Lane 2, Sarah of Concord. 3, Grace Devaney of Concord. 4, Ohim of Portsmouth. 5, Autumn of Salem. 6, Johanna of Merrimack. 7, Sydney of Nashua South. And in 8, Grace of Exeter. times in prelims, we had, I think, 2 girls under that 13-second mark, and then everyone else within 0.2 of a second past the 13-second even. So should be pretty competitive for this race.
Results for the boys high jump. Fifth for the jump of 5'6" from Pickens Academy, freshman Jacob Bezaferi. Fourth, 5'8" from Sauhegan, sophomore Dawson Humley. Good, 5'10" from Pickens Academy, senior Matt Small. Second, 5'10" from Exeter, senior Jake Langevin. And the Merrimack Invitational champion, 5 feet 10 inches, Adam Spencer, Pinkerton Academy.
Girls looking at the starter, which means they're probably just given some commands. So we have our on our mark command given. And it does look like we have lane 5 empty of Autumn of Salem.
Salem, please report to the start of the girls 100 final.
Opting not to go into the finals. And girls are being told to stand up, so we might actually be waiting for her to come to the line. Doesn't quite look like it, as we got another command to get on your mark, so we'll see what happens here. Autumn of Salem, the freshman, so could be opting to miss it, could just be preoccupied with some field events and getting used to it. But she's got some years as the heat is off. Pretty close right now between Autumn. Nope, not Autumn. That was Grace easily with the win there, though. Grace Devaney taking it. I think they might have had slightly different lane assignments than what I had read. As we take a look at the times, Grace got a 12.53, followed by Autumn. So she was there. Nice to see that she did make it. 12.73. Griffin of Londonderry, 13.01. Waite of Concord, 13.17. So some of these times a little bit slower than what we had in our prelim. So again, that could just be a wind thing or different nerves, different types of things. I mean,
Could be a lot of things.
Yeah, you have a slightly different block start. It's not as good, and that can really cause a 10th or 2.
Yeah.
I think that was Elliot Portsmouth who did not show up. Or so curious what happened there, as I think she had the fastest time going into finals. But we'll see if we find anything out. I'm sure she's entered in something else throughout the day. Next up, though, we do have our finals for the boys in the 100. In lane 1, Jonathan of Merrimack. Lane 2, Justin of Londonderry. Lane 3, Jack of Exeter. Lane 4, Connor of Pinkerton. Lane 5, Adam of Merrimack. Lane 6, Paul of Nashua South. Lane 7, Riley of Salem. And in lane 8, Zach of Merrimack. All these guys running their prelims under 11.62, with our top time coming in with 11.18. You see them under the first command. Good start. Very close looking race right now. Hard to tell. 4 of them really neck and neck.
Wow. Look at that.
We'll have to rely on Lancer timing for it.
Oh.
Did have a bit of a fall there. I think that was Connor of Pinkerton. Fell after the line. And it does look like we have McSweeney of Exeter in 11.32. Salini of Pinkerton, 11.35. Thornton Merrimack, 11.41. Mulvey of Salem in 11.44. Cassidy of Londonderry, 11.47. And Marshan from South, 11.48. Those 6 are our placing 6, putting their teams on the board.
That was a great final.
And with the conclusion of the finals, I think Jalisa and I are both going to take off. And I'd like to introduce Jim Mckenzie, who's been with us numerous times. And, of course, he's going to be joined today by Evan Tangway, distance runner. We'll hear a little bit more about him as we move along in the meet.
All right, thank you. So what we got is 1,600 meter girls coming up, and it's going to go fastest to slowest. So we got Lydia Matson of South, Allie McFarland of Exeter, Abigail O'Connor of Co-Brown, Dantia Bracchio of North, Katie Watt of Concord, Adele Alexander of Merrimack, Maeve Donovan of Exeter, Abby Goulis of Concord, Brianna Haley of Dover, Ella Simpson of Elvern. So the fastest time coming in is a 5:29, ranging from 5:29 to 5:42, so basically 13-second difference, so it could be anybody's race here.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some PRs today, too. This track is notorious for having athletes that come in and may not be having the greatest of seasons and then turning it into the beginning of their championship season and start running some really fast times. I know from experience that's what's happened to me. Doing the 2 mile, about 2 to 3 years, each time I would come here, I would PR. So.
And it's a perfect race, too. Perfect night to race. So hopefully we'll see someone pressing some buttons and getting right out there and getting going.
We already see a slight gap starting to develop. Let's see if they'll close that coming off the turn here. And now the athletes are starting to dive in off that turn.
Not a big heat, only 10 in each heat, so plenty of room to move.
Yeah.
And this track's a little bit different too. Its shape, it's wider than most tracks.
Yep. And you have enough room on the turns. The turns aren't too sharp, and you're able to kind of maneuver. If you need to pass someone, you have plenty of time to do it, and you don't have to worry about exerting too much energy on that turn. As you can see, we have a nice pack up front, and then we have a pack developing in the back. And right now, we'll see what happens. It looks like Nashua South is leading it currently, and but it's still anyone's race as of right now.
That's Lydia Matson. She's coming in as the #1 seed, so she's leading the way. But yeah, like Evan just said, you get two packs of 5. So they came through in 79. So they look pretty good.
And, I mean, if you're in that second pack, don't get discouraged in the fact that you're not up there with the top 5. You still have plenty of race left. They just went through the first lap. So a couple of those people in that first pack could drop off. So you got to compete the whole way and really just keep grinding the entire time. But it looks like it's starting to string out a little bit. You have the top 5 starting to kind of get into that single file, maybe slight double file going around the back. And then you have a breakaway from the second pack going and trying to catch that first pack going into the third turn.
When they came through, they were on 5:26 pace. You know, when you get a lot of good athletes together, that's when the times will drop.
Yep.
And this is one of those meets where we've seen some fast times.
Oh yeah.
In the past.
A lot of fast times. And this is the thing is it's really anyone's race when you put those numbers and those athletes together. Because if you have a bunch of guys that are running fast, you could be the athlete that does not have that top time. But if you sit on those athletes that are in the top group, you could very well PR, let alone you could also outkick them at the end depending on what you have left. So we're going through lap 2 right now.
Yep.
At around 2:41.
So that's not too bad. They're moving along. Still that same pack, just right together.
And it is a clump. It's not like they're single file. So you see Abigail O'Connor on the outside going up with Nashua South. We're going to see what happens here. The thing, too, is you almost want to kind of dive in on the corner just to kind of save some energy, but they're so close together right now, even though it is a wider track, that you can't kind of do that. So it's going to be interesting to see who has the upper hand when it comes down to that final lap and who has the kick.
So right now they're on 5:22 pace. Oh, that's pretty
They're
good.
picking it up, yeah.
I said 5:26 before. I meant 5:16. But so they
Okay, so yeah,
yeah
so
they were
slowed it down.
79 through.
Yeah, so they slowed it down a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But you see Abigail O'Connor is trying to take the lead right there, and she does that. Now it's going to see if she can hold it together on this coming into this final straightaway right here before the last lap.
And usually this third lap usually separates them. This is a make or break lap.
And this is really you really got to start thinking about when you're going to attack and go on the offensive instead of the defensive. And it looks like Abby O'Connor is going to try to kind of take off here, and she has 2 going with her. We're going to see what's going to happen coming around this first turn.
Looks like they're trying to make it into a 2-person race right now.
And it looks like Adele Alexander is working up with Abby O'Connor, passing her right now, starting her kick. You can really tell that she's trying to open up that stride, trying to get a little advantage over Abby. And she's looking like she's doing that.
Yeah, she looks good.
She's looking strong coming around. And it has really strung and strung out. And as well, I was saying earlier, the second pack, you can see that one of the athlete that did have that breakaway into that second lap has actually caught up to the back of that pack and is looking pretty strong coming around the corner. So we'll see if she maybe is able to break that top 5.
So she's got a good time going in. This going to be right around 5:20, 5:21 for Alexander. O'Connor 5:24.
And as we bring up the results of this first heat,
Goulis 5:26. She was third from Concord. Matson South 5:27. Bracchio of North 5:28. McFarland of Exeter 5:28. Donovan of Exeter 5:39. Watt of Concord 5:40. So quite a few girls went under the fastest time coming in. So 6 girls were underneath the seed time. That's a pretty good effort there. Looks real good. All right, so the next heat, we have Ducharme of South, Correa of Salem, James of Salem, Graham of Co-Brown, Pete of Pinkerton, Pine of Co-Brown, Gannon of Salem, Bouffard of Londonderry, Jennings of Sauhegan, and Sophia Searles of North.
and all these girls in the second heat are coming in under the 6-minute mark. And the times are all within 8 seconds of each other. You have the top seed, Brielle Ducharme at 5:50, and the last seed is Sophia Searles at 5:58.
So this is a lot of Salem's youth crew that they got from cross country. They got four of their girls in this heat itself, and they're an up-and-coming cross country team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you can get your cross country crew to go and actually compete in track and field, I know a lot of athletes like to do cross country and then might go to another sport. But if you can get your cross country crew to go and do track, it allows for you to do and create some speed, do some workouts kind of based on that, and it helps you in cross country in the end. So it's kind of nice to see that a young team like that has some of their youth out there.
They've dominated on the middle school cross country the last few years.
They have. And it's kind of neat to see some other teams kind of coming up into the power rankings, as we will say. As we've always kind of had certain teams that have always been there, and it's kind of nice to see some up-and-coming teams pop in and make a stand.
What, are you tired of Londonderry and Deerfield?
I love Deerfield, and Londonderry's always been there, but I like to see some new faces sometimes.
Yep. No, I was happy to see Salem do that because it is nice to have good competition in different areas and spread it around the state a little bit.
Well, that's the thing is if the whole state as a whole has competition all around, it just makes it for a lot more fun and exciting competitions and events. And I know as an athlete you might not want that, but as spectators and as coaches go, it's a lot more fun to coach and be there for your athletes if they have good competition all around.
Exactly. So they went through 83, so that 5:32 pace.
And it's still pretty much together. You're starting to string out a little bit on the back. They have a little tail going here, but there's still a good amount of the athletes right in that group up front, you got about 6 or so in a lead pack, and you have about 4 kind of stringing off the back.
That's a tight pack, too.
A reminder, ladies and gentlemen, if you finish in the top 6, please report to the press box on the east side.
And being in that tight pack, you do tend to exert a little bit more energy than you may want to, just because it's so tight. You're trying to make a move. You're trying to get to the outside. You kind of have to slow down if you're in that middle or inside lane part. But at the same time, it also allows you to kind of relax in the back and make that move on that last lap if you're able to. So it kind of depends on what you like to do as an athlete and as a racer.
Yeah, sometimes it's like being in a car and, in traffic and constantly hitting the brakes.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as a human. You constantly, where sometimes it's better just to be in the open a little bit.
Well, and that's
free.
the thing, is it's hitting the brakes. There's a lot of times where you'll have a cluster like that, and someone will hit the brakes, and right there you kind of lose a little bit of energy. It kind of jars your mind, and you got to stay mentally focused. And we're starting to string out a little bit more, and you can kind of see this is where the mental part's going to come in. Like, can I push myself right here and come around the back?
So now they're back on 5:42 pace. So still ahead of their seed time.
And just like we had last race, we have a group up front. We don't necessarily have that stringing off the back like we did. That's a little bit more spread out. But we still have 4 athletes up front competing, and it's really anyone's race as of right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. The following 8 boys have reached the finals in the long jump. From Exeter, Ryan O'Donnell.
Got 2 Salem girls up front.
Looking strong as doing it too.
From Nashua North, Isaac Smith.
And looking at the Pinkerton athlete in the back and the south. My bad. But looking at the 2 athletes of Salem. Yep, Salem and the. Yeah, I was right. The south girl. They can use those that Londonderry athlete and kind of hang on there and work their way up, kind of slingshot off, as you see South's doing right now.
Heading into the bell lap. It's going to be 4:16.
And coming through, the lead is 4:16 going into the final lap, and it looks like it's a pretty comfortable lead for Salem right now. But
Pinkerton looks like she's picking up the pace a little bit, taking South with her.
Yeah, and it looks like South and Pinkerton are going to close that gap coming off this turn. Now it's going to be who can duke it out and who has a little bit of speed on this back straightaway. Because if you can get to that back turn, and you can get into that back turn in the lead, you're in a pretty comfortable spot because you're going to make the other athletes have to go around you, which, like we talked about, exerts more energy. And we see a slight surge by Salem. And it looks like she is going to keep that spot going into the turn. But South is right on her shoulder, so it's going to be a sprint at the end to see who can take it.
So it looks like Brielle Ducharme and Natalie Correa battling it out. You get Alexis Pete is in 3rd place. So it's still a 3-person race right at this point.
And it looks like Brielle's trying to kick it in. And it looks like, but then we have Natalie right on her. It's going to be a sprint. It looks like Natalie's trying to edge her out, but Brielle's holding on.
Wow, it's a close one.
It's going to go down to the wire.
Wow.
Wow. Talk about stride for stride. And we're bringing up the results as we are, and it looks like
0.04 of a second.
Wow. And it looks like Ducharme, hold on. Wow.
So Ducharme took that 5:39.04. She's from South. Correa of Salem, 5:39.08. Buffard of Londonderry, 5:40. Searles of North, 5:46. Graham of Co-Brown, 5:50. James of Salem, 5:51. Gannon of Salem, 5:55. Jennings of Sauhegan, 6 minutes. So in the boys' heat, in the first heat of the 1600, we have Braden Kearns of Concord, Dawson Dubois of Co-Brown, Matt Griffin of Londonderry, Jeffrey Allen of Campbell, Andrew Payton of Merrimack, Joseph Curran of North, Paul Boletto of Elvern, Martin O'Sullivan of Concord, Yassine Jahib of North, Ethan Desmaris of Pinkerton, Trevor Skoblides of Campbell, Jackson Mazejka of Salem, and Jeremiah Payur of Dover.
In this race right here, I believe we're going to see a pretty fast time going through if they are able to work together in the first couple laps. If we just have one athlete go out and try to lead the whole time and the other guys sit on him, it's not going to be as fast as they're hoping. But looking at the field, it looks like it could be a very fast race with Braden Kearns leading it off. But very close behind is Dawson Dubois, who, if he is in the right, has a good kick. So, and don't count Jeffrey Allen out. We've seen some crazy races from him here on this track.
Yeah, Jeffrey will be hard to beat. He's got a lot of experience. We'll see if he pops one. He hasn't run a fast time yet this year, but he's always deadly.
And this is the track that he can really turn that around and get ready for his championship season. So, coming off the waterfall,
and you can never count out Curran. Curran stole a 3,000 this year. I mean, he won it outright. I mean, no one thought he was going to do it. He comes in with a 9:13. He walks away with an 8:46.
And he's a quiet guy. You don't hear much about him, and he kind of just goes out there and does his thing, and which is admirable in some aspects. He just goes out there and works, but you can see he almost gets kind of tripped up there coming off the turn, and he's going to try to go to the outside like we talked about, hit the brakes, and you got to adjust. So he's coming around the corner right now. We have Salem out in front, which is Jackson. Followed by Merrimack.
Yeah, so a lot of the big guns are way out back.
Yeah. I mean, they're cruising through. They went through at a 66 flat, and that's moving. I feel like they are going to slow it down on this upcoming lap. I don't think they're going to hold that. They went out a little hot, but we're also going to see the I feel like this right here is where the true contenders are going to kind of make their claim for the top spot. And you can see Jeffrey Allen working up with Dubois and Kearns, as well as we have Joseph Curran up there too. So right here they're gonna need to make a move on him. You can see Dubois going up the inside.
Dubois looks like he's making a move up there. I mean, the only two guys have really been in this like 424 pace, and that's Curran and Jeffrey Allen. So I'm not so sure any of these other guys have broken 430 before.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like today could be a fast race overall. And you can see a lot of PRs. Now, obviously, only one can win it, but you come out with a PR, that's a good start. That's a good starting point for the rest of the season. And you look at some of the athletes, and you can kind of gauge on how they're looking. Kearns looks like he's a little tense right now, but he's got to hang in there. Allen's looking a little tense, but Dubois up front and Curran look pretty smooth going through the start line.
Going 2:16, so 4:32 pace.
And that's right on pace for their seed times. So now let's see what they have on this last two laps, especially this last lap, and see what they have.
You know, Andrew Payton has been pretty good all season. He's made some big improvements. Ethan Desmaris is pulling up there. So right now you got Curran, Payton, Desmaris, Jeffrey Allen,
Curran,
Dawson Dubois, Kearns still up there. You get everybody. The scenes up there, they're all. This lap is really slowed right down.
Oh, yeah.
So now it's going to be tactical.
This is a big cluster going into the final lap here, and this is going to really be who can just gun it out, because with this amount of people, you got to get to the outside, and you got to start moving. As you see Kearns, he's all the way out in lane 2, almost lane 3. That's how clustered it is. And we're seeing it looks like they're starting to kind of unleash a little kick going into the last lap. It's not even the last lap yet. And you see Kearns and Curran going for it.
I would say Curran has probably got as much raw speed as anybody's been, but he's been sick most of the.
And going into it, 325 high.
Yeah, looks like Curran.
And you see these two are pulling away. And now you got to look at the back.
Jeffrey Allen's coming up.
He's making a move. If he can hang on to there, he might have a kick that we haven't seen this season. See Curran trying to take off right here. We're going to see what happens. You can see Curran starting to die off a little bit, but you see the rest of them catching him.
Yeah. Jeffrey Allen is going to be – he's in the driver's seat right now. He's got to close that gap just a hair going into this cove.
He's got to get right up on him. He's going to stay, but he's got to go. Curran's trying to open it up right now, trying to make it impossible for Jeffrey to go around him on this final straightaway. And they are moving right now.
I think Jeffrey Allen – I don't know. Curran's tough, though.
Curran looks smooth right now. His form is very smooth, but Jeffrey Allen has the grit. And you can see it right now. Who's going to get it right now? And they are moving. There goes Allen like we talked about. That's the kick we haven't seen all season, and he's going to try to take it away right now.
Wow, it's a good one.
Wow, they are moving.
So let's see how they turn that on. So 425.
425 high.
How about Yassine Jakib?
Wow.
Wow. Holy.
And talk about a race. They went out fast. They kind of relaxed on that second and third lap, and then they took off.
That last lap was scorching. So Allen took that, 4:26.01.
Make that Jeffrey Allen of Campbell, 4:26.01.
We have Curran of North with 4:26.
Curran, 4:26.61.
So that's what it was. It came down to it.
Yep.
They were moving. Jeffrey had it, but Curran was able to pull it back a tiny bit and get right within that same second.
Yassine Jakib took it 4:29, third place. Dubois, 4:31. Griffin of Londonderry, 4:31. Peyton of Merrimack, 4:32. Desmarais of Pinkerton, 4:34. Kearns, 4:36. So that last lap was a scorcher.
That was fast. And going into the second heat of the boys 1600, we have Ryan Cizuk from Concord, Nathan Stein from Sauhegan, Gavin Lewis from Coe-Brown. We have Patrick Hill from Coe-Brown. We have Steve Grau from Pinkerton, Tyler Skoplites from Campbell, Tyler Kraft from Londonderry, Nicholas Drew from North, Benjamin Palumbo from Londonderry, Thomas Headington from Sauhegan, Ari Montville from Portsmouth, Joshua Brown from Merrimack, and to round it out, we have Charles Lavoie from Pinkerton. Now, I don't believe we're going to see as fast of a final lap in this heat as much, but I do believe they're still going to go out fast like the first heat, and we're just going to see if they are going to be able to do anything in the middle heat, in the middle laps.
So they came through 3/4 in 3:22, finished up
Wow,
with a 64. So
that's
it's pretty good.
yeah. Their first lap was a 66.
But it
flat.
changed right over there with 200 to go.
That's the thing. I
You
mean,
know, they were slightly picking it up, but that last 200, I'd like to have a watch on that one.
The thing is, I don't think that it started picking up until pretty much the 300 mark is when Curran started to make a move. Jeffrey Allen saw that he had to have a little bit of urgency, so he picked it up and kind of got back up on him. And then from there, it was about 200 to go. They just started moving. And I think Curran knew he had to go on the offensive because Jeffrey was coming on him. So it was a good sprint for the finish, and you saw some fast times like we talked about.
Juslick took it out pretty hard.
They're faster. They're faster than the first heat.
Yeah, 4:16 pace. That's not going to last. I'm going to give you a
No.
newsflash.
Nope.
Not going to last. But sometimes you get it out there and get it to go. You know what I mean? I mean, last year in the 2 mile, Gump took the first lap out in 64.
Well, and that's the thing. Sometimes you got to get out there, and certain athletes like to go out there and kind of just lay it out on the table and see what they have. And that's what we're kind of seeing right now.
Spreads everybody out pretty quick.
And it kind of picks out who's going to be in the contention for the top spot. But you have it looks like Concord. You have 2 Coe-Brown boys in there, and it looks like maybe a Portsmouth in there.
That's Montville. He's pretty tough. He's got a good kick.
And
If anybody's close to him in a kick, he gets everybody.
Yeah.
You know.
And I mean, you see Gavin Lewis come around the corner, taking it off the corner, going into the straightaway. We're going to see what happens here if they can pull it together. Patrick Hill hanging on to the back of Portsmouth. Portsmouth hanging on the back of Concord. It's just a little train right now.
This is probably some of their fastest halves.
Now, you can run a fast half. Can you run a fast mile off of
Right.
that half is the key part right now.
So
2:15.
Yeah, so 4:30 pace.
Good 10-6 from Coe-Brown Jr., Cody Tangway. Second, 12 feet from Manchester Memorial Senior, Thomas Goodson. And the 2019 Merrimack Invitational champion.
How high did your brother jump?
6 inches,
Well, maybe 10-6. I couldn't
10-6.
quite hear it. Yeah.
What do you got, third place?
Yeah, it looks
That's
like he did. No, I'm proud of him.
He's coming along.
Yeah, from a family that's kind of just generally been running since I started to seeing him go and branch out and do his own thing. It's great to see, and I'm very proud of him as a brother.
How does it feel to be in his shadow right now?
It's new to me, but I'm not going to say I don't like it. It's kind of neat.
No, he's doing well for himself. I'm glad he found it and likes it. I talked to him the other day, and he was all pumped up about it.
Yeah, he's really
putting the work
motivated.
in it.
Almost more motivated than we've seen him with anything else. So it's great to see. And as we're coming around to this the straightaway, you see Gavin Lewis still leading it with Portsmouth right on his shoulder, but you still have Sauhegan and it looks like Coe-Brown on him too.
This Montville, I'm telling you, if he can hold on to this lap, he can kick. So going through in 3:32, so it'll be about 4:44 pace. About what they're coming in.
And it looks like Lewis is trying to take off right now. And we'll see if he can hold that. You look like those two in the back right behind him are going to try to make up some ground and hang on him. But we're going to see if Lewis is able to hold on to this going into 300 to go.
Lewis, he's a senior this year.
Yep. Gavin Lewis is a senior this year. With we have Nathan Stein, who is also a senior, catching up to him right now. Looks like those two are going to battle it out for the top position. Very similar to last race going into. You had two guys up front trying to open it up, and they open it up like last race. Obviously, we're not going to go and look at see necessarily the same speed, but they're still moving right now. And Gavin Lewis looks like he's holding them off. We're going to see if he can continue to hold them off going into the straightaway.
Stein's going to make his move now if he's going to do it, but he's not going to do it.
No, and it looks like Gavin Lewis is going to be able to hold off. We're going to see what time he comes in.
Cheslick's fighting his way back in to third place. That was a good time for him.
Yeah.
4:39, that's sub 4:40. That's the first time he's ever been under 4:40.
And, I mean, that's what I'm saying is this track works some magic sometimes. But Gavin went out from the gun and did what he needed to do on that first lap. He made a move on the outside to come off into the lane and pretty much led the majority of the race.
So we had Lewis, Cole Brown, 4:39.9, Stein, Sauegan, 4:41, Cheslick of Concord, 4:43, Montville of Portsmouth, 4:44, Hill of Cole Brown, 4:46, Kraft of Londonderry, 4:48, Grew of Pinkerton, 4:49, and Scopolites, 4:52. So a lot of PRs there. So most every kid that ran in that heat right there got a nice PR. So we have the girls 4x100 meter relay coming up next. And we have Londonderry, Concord, Pinkerton, Portsmouth, Merrimack, and South. It's 3 heats, and this is the first of the 3. Most kids had PRs in that race.
And you can't really ask much more. I mean, everyone would like to win the race, but if you're able to go out there and drop a nice PR, it's a good feeling, it's a good motivation, and it's a good morale booster leading into the next couple races before we get into the state championships.
Yeah, sure, if you can. I don't care. Like,
we have javelin and discus competing.
Water or Gatorade. Thanks.
Please stay off the infield. We have javelin throwers and discus throwers.
We look like we're about to start the next event, the girls 4x100 meter relay.
If you're not competing in either event, please stay off the infield.
So I'm wondering if Grace Devaney's going to be in this one. Pretty sure she will. I knew she was going to run the 100, but I wasn't sure about the relay. She'll have a good shot at doing really well down at low, because I mean, she could definitely be a contender for the win down there.
She could, definitely, and it's nice to see that we're starting to get some more and more athletes down at those games and just get New Hampshire out there. I know the website and everything has kind of obviously been good for us in promoting, but to get some athletes down in other competitions in other states, it's a really great way to promote what we've been doing the last couple of years. So.
Yeah, definitely bring some exposure. When you're out in Michigan, do you ever look back at it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've talked to some of the kids that are on my team, and I'm like, do you guys have anything like we do here in New Hampshire? And none of them have anything quite like we do. And saying that we have a website for everything, they're just kind of in shock about it. So what we have here is a really unique and kind of amazing thing. And I'm glad that we use it to our full potential, and I'm glad that not only the athletes but the parents and the coaches embrace what we have here. So
I think a lot of it, too, is when you get those huge states, I don't even know how it's possible, but being a small enough state and then having 5 other states around you that you can get to.
Yeah, that's
what
the
I mean?
thing. Yeah.
So
with Michigan, it's so big. I mean, just in itself, it seems like that in itself. People like I've told people, I'm like, hey, like they ask like where I'm from, and I'm like, I'm from New Hampshire, and they kind of like, where is that in Michigan? And I'm like, no. And so Michigan itself is like 3 or 4 New Hampshires. So yeah, it's kind of hard to have a website like that, but that's the one thing I really do like about here is coming back and seeing this whole thing. So I think it's unique, and I'm glad we use it, and I'm glad we continue to do what we do here. So. as we're about to start. They're shaking it out. They're getting ready and about to get this thing underway. And talk about a beautiful day.
Oh my God, it's just
You can't ask for much more, to be honest. Coming into this track always seems to bring it when it comes to the weather, for just allow the athletes to kind of get out there and do their thing. And as we see, it looks like South out front, looking pretty strong.
Portsmouth had some great handoffs
Yeah.
there, so it looks like Portsmouth's in the lead now.
They're gonna close the gap right there. Portsmouth's really reeling everyone in and taking off right now.
Grace closed the gap a little bit, but Portsmouth looks strong. But it still comes down to the handoffs.
Handoffs are key. You saw South out front looking strong, and then that handoff kind of slowed them down a little bit, allowed Portsmouth to kind of capitalize. And you see them out front just kind of going away with it.
So Portsmouth's going to take this one home. Wow, they're gaining really fast. Looks like South, Cindy Lewis took it to second, I believe.
Wow.
Let's see what we got here. So Portsmouth 50.61, South 51.53, Pinkerton 51.71, Merrimack 51.73, Concord 51.79, and Londonderry 52.14. So it's never over till it's over. So in the next heat, we have Elvern, Exeter North, and Souhegan. Just 4 teams.
And this is the second heat out of 3.
Boys shot put, first flight, kid report to the circle towards the Souhegan River. Flight 1, boys shot put. Please report to the circle.
They're off.
And looking at their seed times, it looks like Exeter and North coming with pretty similar overall seed times. But like I said, this track, you can't really count anyone out. And it looks like you have up front
Exeter right now.
Yeah, Exeter and North taking off.
Well, North, and yeah, it's pretty close.
And you see Exeter on the inside, obviously having a little bit of an advantage. But like we said last heat, handoffs are key.
Two-person race, Exeter and North.
And it looks like North starting to close a tiny bit. Let's see if Exeter can hold them off.
Exeter's going to take that one. Exeter 51.89, North 52.17, Elvern 53.57, and Souhegan 54.49. The final heat will just be 3 teams, Campbell, Coe-Brown, and Salem.
Please report to the bullpen. Boys, 400 meter run. Girls, 400 should have checked in. Boys and girls, 400 meter run. Should be checked in, already have.
So I would say that first heat, all the places are going to come out of there. That was pretty good. That was stacked.
That was a stacked heat. And, I mean, just looking at the seed times, you would expect that. But that race really came out on top and showed that those seed times were no joke.
I have a feeling Campbell will run faster than their seed time right now.
I feel like they will, too. I could see them PRing by a good amount. But who knows? I mean, we could see one of these other teams, Coe-Brown or Salem, really pop a nice race and just take it away. So we'll see.
No, that was a good battle between Kern and Allen, though.
Yeah, it's good to see some duels at the end. And we are off in the last heat of the girls 4x100 meter relay.
Final heat, girls 4x1.
Close race right now.
As we can see, Brown and Salem
Go Brown with a slight advantage.
pretty equal, but yet Brown coming out just a slight advantage.
And Campbell didn't get it around. They muffed it up on the second.
Two teams there. It looks like it's either Campbell or Cole Brown and Salem.
And Brown looking like they're trying to extend their lead right here. Going into the final handoff, looking pretty good. But like I said, handoffs are key. And if they can get this down, they look like they're in a pretty comfortable spot. Handing it off to junior Jaden Belanger. So you see Salem trying to reel him in. But it looks like Brown has a pretty comfortable lead. But we're going to see. Salem's really reeling him in coming into this
Coming
final.
hard. Ran out of real estate. Boom.
But right at the end.
So Cole Brown took that 54.71. Salem 55.08.
Now we're going into the men's 4x100 meter relay. And in this, we do have 3 heats as well. In the first heat, we have Alvern, Exeter, Pinkerton, Merrimack, Concord, and Nashua South. And if we're basing it off of what the girls just did, it looks like this first heat will also be very fast and full of competition. So
Heat 1, Alvern, Exeter, Pinkerton Academy, Merrimack, Concord.
as we'll see a couple of the guys doing some stride outs, kind of get the feel of the blocks.
Well, I'm going to put this on with the 2 Deerfield boys. Last year's 2 state champions. One from Cole Brown, one from Concord. Forrest Mckenzie, he's going to take my place, and hopefully these guys can do a good job.
And I would like to welcome Forrest to the live stream. It's been a minute since we've talked.
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
But yeah, so you going down to Laux tomorrow? You ready?
Yep, I'm definitely ready. It'll be my first trip down, so
Yeah, it's gonna
looking
be
forward
good.
to it.
It'll be good and good to get down there and represent. And they are off in the first heat. And no one's really taking anything away from anyone else. They're looking pretty even going around into the first handoff. And now we're really seeing Merrimack really start to pull. But let's see if they have a handoff.
Yeah, it seems like
Now it looks like Concord and it looks as Pinkerton. But I wouldn't count out Merrimack. And as you can see, South kind of reeling it back in.
it's gonna be tight.
It's going to be very tight. Coming around. Pinkerton's taking off.
Oh,
Merrimack
it's
is
gonna be a
right
good
there.
one.
This is going to be good. Merrimack is shooting past them right now. Let's see. See if he can hold it. Merrimack's taking off right now, and they're going to finish in a time of 44.15. 44.18, my bad.
Boys triple jump.
That was a good one.
That was fast. That was fast.
Boys triple jump. Please report to the pits. Merrimack.
Yeah, so next we got Salem North, Londonderry, Memorial.
It should be a pretty close race with 3 of the C times all falling within that 46-point mark. North has a slight advantage in the 45-point high, but this, again, it could be anyone's race. And it's really the whole 400-meter or the 100-meter race and handoffs. It depends on how you get out. The blocks are very key in the beginning. If you don't get a good start, that could be the slight advantage that your final leg needs to get over that other runner. As you saw in the last race, Merrimack was able to come back and overcome. It looked like Pinkerton. So if they didn't get out of the blocks, that could have very well been Pinkerton's race.
Yep. That Merrimack kid at the end was real strong. It seemed like it could have been down to like just brute who's faster than who
Yeah,
in that race.
They came out and Pinkerton had that slight advantage. But yeah, he was coming on him hard and he was able to hold it. And as they're getting set,
And they're off.
and like I said, these seed times look like it could be a very close race, and this could come down to the handoffs. Very well could come down to the handoffs.
Londonderry's out good.
Londonderry's looking strong, taking off, and they're going to have the slight advantage going into the corner as they are in the inside lane. Looking strong.
Oh, it's pretty tight actually. They're all pretty. Yeah, I think Londonderry's got the lead.
With a bad handoff in the back.
Yep.
off of what looks like maybe Memorial.
Oh, yeah, Londonderry's got a big lead.
But don't count out North, who's going to try to close, but Londonderry looks too strong.
Yeah, we'll see what they run.
And Memorial's looking to close on what was it, Salem?
Yeah.
But we had 45.42 for Londonderry. North in second with 46.06. Salem with 47.06. And Memorial coming in with 47.35. So now we're going into the third and last heat of the men's 4x100 meter relays with Souhegan, Co-Brown, and Dover. Just a 3-team race.
Co-Brown's got the advantage here. Fastest seed by a second.
Yep, looks like by about a second, a little over a second.
These are your boys.
Yeah, these are my boys. It's been a little while since I've been out there competing with them, but a very youthful group we have amongst that team. And it's kind of neat to see. We actually, our leadoff leg, it looks like it could be John Thorne, who is also a thrower for us. So we kind of like to see what athletes are good all around. Some do throws and run. Some do jumps. We kind of just like to see what athletes are good at all around. And it's what's kind of unique about our program that I like. But we're going to see what happens here. We're going to hopefully they can have a nice PR as well as the rest of the teams. And they're off.
It's interesting. Souhegan didn't use a block. It looks like they didn't need it.
And it's still very close going into the first handoff.
Maybe they did.
And it looks like right now we're trying to see. It looks like Co-Brown's trying to take a slight lead over what we have here is Dover. Going into the third handoff. Good handoff for Co-Brown and Souhegan. Dover struggled on that handoff, and it shows as they drop back the third. Final handoff. It looks like Porter Higas is going to hammer that final straightaway.
Kid can do it all.
See Souhegan in second and Dover trying to close, trying to make up that bad handoff. And we are going to see Co-Brown take it with a time of 46.95. Souhegan in second with 48.06. And Dover in third with 48.75.
They all improved on their seed.
Next event on the track is the 400 meter run.
Now we got 400. Look at this. 1 and 2 are both autumns. What's the chances of that?
So, yeah, so as he was saying, we're going to go to the girls' 400-meter dash. And we have 4 heats of the women's. And then for the first heat, we have Vanessa Norton of South. We have Sarah Padellaro from Timberlane. Autumn Aronowski from Salem. Autumn Agri from Exeter. Asia Mercier from Memorial. And Grace Ripperger from Portsmouth.
They're not making it easy for you, are they?
No, I'm out here working for these names, I'll tell you. I may not be running, but these names got me messed up. So, I mean, to be fair, people get my name kind of messed up, Tangway. So yeah, I've heard some wacky things before.
Can't really screw up Mckenzie.
That's true. That's true. The only thing I sometimes screw up is how to spell it.
Yeah.
I forget that A sometimes, but yeah. So what are you running tomorrow?
I'll be doing the 3200.
There you go.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I feel good. I haven't run one since the National North invite, where I went 9:29 full 2 miles. So
there you go.
I'm looking forward to it. There's tons of really, really good guys, so I'm just gonna get pulled along for the ride. So
yeah, just go out there and see what you can do, and
Yep.
Just kind of prepare for that championship season. You know it's going to be a long season for yourself.
Yeah.
So kind of see what you have right now and kind of feel it out, and just go out there and represent New Hampshire and your school well.
no doubt. Yeah, I think me and Jake Winslow from Exeter are also we're the only New Hampshire guys in there.
Yeah, and he's having a phenomenal season as well.
Oh yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, so it's going to be good to see you two there. As we're going into this first heat, it's looking like it's a battle up front between
like
about
Salem.
3 schools. Looks like maybe Salem
He's a
out in
freshman.
the lead. Wow, it's always kind of neat to see a freshman phenom come out and try to battle with the upperclassmen, and that's exactly what she's doing. So we're coming around. We have
Sarah
Timberlane
Padellaro.
taking off right now. Salem's still in second. So we're seeing the others try to close.
She's gonna run a good time.
She's going to run sub 60.
Good for her.
There we go. 59.27 for Timberlane. 60.82 for Salem. 60.97 for Memorial. 61.24 for Exeter. 62.07 for South. And for Portsmouth, we have 63.65.
All right, next we got Elizabeth White of Co-Brown, Juliana Messina of Concord, Marissa Romano of Sauhegan, Lisa Vasquez, Salem, Chantel Finlay of North, and Megan Fitzgerald of Dover.
And again, in this one, we have a couple newbies to the track and field program in high school from Co-Brown and from Dover. We have 2 freshmen, but then we also have a good amount of juniors and seniors in this race as well. So we're going to see if the experience or the youth side is going to prevail.
Yeah, and it looks like Marissa Romano's got fastest seed time by about 2 seconds. She just missed the fast seed, so she should be the favorite in here. Actually, it doesn't even look like she's there, so disregard that.
And they are off in the second heat.
Yeah, so then it'll be tight. They're all seated right around 65.
Coming around, and it looks like Chantel Finlay from North taking it out pretty strong. Looking pretty good, pretty strong going into that straightaway. And it looks like it's going to be her race for the taking if she can hold this.
Got to close out. 400 is so tough. You ever do the 4x4s?
I have done the 4x4, believe it or not. I mean,
Those
my senior
are
year.
terrible.
I would never expect to do it as a distance runner, but get thrown in there and it's a completely different animal. If you go out too hard, you feel it at the end. If you go out too slow, you feel it at the end. So it's just got to get it just right.
Yeah,
and,
it is.
It's definitely something else. As we're coming into the final straightaway, you still see Chantel in the lead with Libby White in second. And we're going to see a little bit slower over time in the second heat, but not too much, with a 63.94 for Finlay taking the win in the second heat.
So did you compete in outdoor this year? Did you redshirt?
So I did redshirt. I redshirted my entire freshman year. That's just how the program is out there, and it's not a bad thing. Adjusting to college is a little bit different than going from middle school to high school. But, yeah, so I redshirted my entire year. I did run a couple races. I did some 15s, and that's what we like to do, some 15s out there, get some speed under you, kind of develop for the next year and the next years to come. And, yeah, it was good. I was more of a time trial person. We did a lot of time trials. And I did come down with an injury towards the end of the season, which kept me out of the 1.5K that we were training for. But, I mean, I can't complain about what we were doing. I really enjoyed everything. I enjoyed the whole process. And, I mean, coming from someone that's not speed-oriented, it was something that I had to really embrace, doing the 15s, which are all-out sprints for me, and doing the workouts that were just completely different. I mean, going out there and doing 200s is something that I'm not used to and or comfortable with, and it's just something you got to do.
Yeah. How fast did you get down to?
I went through – my fast was about 4:09, 4:10, which converts to about my PR in the mile. And I obviously wanted to go faster, but I did come down with my injury, and which was a stress injury in my shin. So it's something that you really want to be careful with.
So you still have the injury, or you?
Yeah, I'm coming off the injury. I actually was in a boot for 5 weeks. I was on crutches for 2 weeks.
Oh no.
And yeah, this is the first week back. I'm biking 30 minutes, and I'll tell you, all these athletes here, just a fair warning: do not take your cardiovascular strength for granted, because I lost it pretty quick. I'm on the bike, and I get off and I'm hurting for a couple hours. So it's
When did you get home?
I got home last Saturday. I drove straight through from Michigan all the way to New Hampshire, 14 hours.
Did you have to go through Canada?
Yeah, we went through Canada. You could go around, but we went through Canada, and just my dad and I, we were just enjoying the ride, caught up on life and how things are going. And
I mean, you haven't seen him for a while, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, being out of Michigan is a great experience for me. It really allows me to grow, and I recommend for all athletes to consider your options out of state.
Yeah,
but,
I'm going far. I'm going about 15 minutes down.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean,
he's gonna miss him.
Yeah. No, I mean, college is something that you go far, you stay home, you stay close. It's something that really what you make of it. And yeah, it's been great. But we're gonna finish up this last heat, and we see them coming in. We're gonna have the top seed. We're gonna have the top time, which finishes of Exeter with 65.9, Sauhegan with 66.45, Pinkerton with 67.05, 67.29 for Sauhegan, 68.56 for Pinkerton, and to round it out, we have North at 68.83.
Jaden Smith was in that race.
That's Go Brown.
I wonder if Will's here.
Next up,
So now we're going into the boys.
I think we got one more, girls.
Oh, we do have one more, girls? Is that? Oh, that was 3 heats. My bad. We are going into the 4th and final heat of the girls 400 meter.
Brown.
We got Grace Sullivan from Merrimack, Hannah Peterson from Merrimack, Mckenzie Betty, she's got a nice name, from South, Jasmine Brown from Londonderry, and Anna Stella Brown from Merrimack. So Merrimack's loading this one up.
And this, believe it or not, we have 4 seed times that are the exact same at 67.5. So this could very well be anyone's race going into the end.
So isn't that pretty early? You guys got out?
Yeah, we do tend to get out a little bit earlier than other colleges. I know some colleges are just getting out now. I know UNH is finishing up their finals this week. But yeah, I got out about 2 weeks ago, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I got out 2 weeks ago, but I stayed because we had a conference meet. So I stayed to help work that and kind of cheer on my teammates. Great experience. It was really nice to see those guys out there competing. It was.
How'd Panning do?
He cruised, just kind of chill on the
Probably
10K.
cruised like a 13.
Yeah, no, he definitely went out there and just chilled. Didn't crush it or anything. But yeah, there's rumors of him going out and running for some professional teams. So we'll see. Yeah, Tinman
Remember
elites.
he was stressed about that.
Yeah, I think he's a very mild-mannered guy. He doesn't really show his emotions much, and he did run a 13:37, which is flying.
As 9th fastest.
Yeah,
D2
D2,
ever, right?
yeah, and it's kind of incredible to say that you had him on his team, and yeah.
Jasmine Brown with the win there. So Tinman Elite.
Yeah, which
Let's
is
see.
out in the Colorado area, I believe.
Yep.
But he's pretty much in the position that he can kind of choose where he wants to go. But he's an incredible guy. Just actually recently got engaged, and
I saw that.
he incredible guy, incredible teammate, and he's actually a goofball. He's a clown, but we love him, and we're gonna miss him next year. But we wish him the best in whatever he does, and yeah. So we're getting ready for the guys 400 meter.
Yep, we got Zach Plaza from Pinkerton, Aaron Limbat of Dover, Devontae McCoy Sofis from Alvern, Vladimir Junkman from North, Reed Langevin from Exeter, Elijah DeMeo from Merrimack. And Devontae from Alvern is the top seed.
It's pretty close going into the back straightaway right here. As we see, it looks like Alvern's trying to pull away a tiny bit, but it looks like North is coming in and trying to battle with him. But Alvern does have the inside lane compared to the two of them, so it's a slight advantage. But North is definitely pulling it back. It's going to be pretty even going to the final straightaway. We're going to see what we can do here. North is trying to pull away, and it looks like Alvern is tensing up a little bit. So.
Yep, it's going to be North.
And North is pulling away.
Going to run a pretty fast time.
And we're going to pull this up, and we're going to see exactly what it runs
50,
with.
51, probably 51 low. 51,
Yeah, and you're right on.
25.
Right on. So he ran away with that one, literally. We're getting ready for the second heat.
It's got my
of
boy
the
Jackie. My boy Jackie Wilkes.
Men's 400 meter. And we have Alexander Gabeu from Pinkerton, Bryce Eckenrode from North, Jackson Wilkes from Concord, your boy.
My boy.
Benjamin Fleming from Pinkerton, Ryan McClure from Timberlane, and Colin Miller from North.
All right, I'm putting my money on my boy Jackie.
I would too.
He ran with his brother.
Yeah.
Who's his brother?
Who's his brother?
Yeah. Put it together. 2 and 2.
Well, I mean, you have Wait, what did you say? I ran with him?
Yep.
Well, there's Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie. There you go.
My bad. We're having a little little conversation outside the glass right here.
Yeah, with the Grace Devaney, the 400 king.
Oh,
she
yeah.
should have ran today. Oh, yeah,
400
she's
king.
got Laux. Oh, they're off.
And
Or
they're off in
queen,
the
I
second
should
heat.
say.
But, yeah, I ran with Jamie, and he's doing his thing. But, yeah, so we're off in the back, and you can see it looks like Nashua North up front in the back taking it away. We're going to see if anyone else can kind of close the gap and make it a little bit of a competition up front. But it's just one of those races you got to get out hard, and you got to maintain through the back, and then you got to really, really try to hammer that finish to pull away.
Yeah, Jackson, he usually goes out kind of slow and then hammers back, catches people while they're dying. So we'll see. We'll see if he can pull it out here. It's going to be tight. Come on, my boy. Look at him go.
And he's trying to take off. It's going to be close. It's going to be very close as you see
Come
North
on,
kind of
buddy.
look over. And we are going to
Yeet.
hop over to the results. And
Atta boy, Jackie.
you would have made some money on that one.
Yahoo. 52.69. I think that's a PR for my guy.
There you go.
Let's see here. Yep. I think that's the first time breaking 53. So, GG's, my guy Jackie.
It's a track of PRs.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. This track, every year I feel like it's just PR Central. I got my 2-mile PR here.
Yeah, I did too. I actually had that until New England's of last year, actually.
You PR'd at New England's?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did because last year I was coming off of my one of my injuries, and so I was pretty fresh going into the championship season. And it was actually starting at States. I PR'd in every race but one, from States to New England's. Every race that I was involved in, I was PRing. And,
Peak at the right time.
Yeah, and I mean this track is probably my favorite track in the entire state, just because you come here and the competition's A1 because you have all divisions, and and the weather is usually perfect. We get to run under the lights for the 2-mile, and
That's the best.
It's just a great feeling being able to just to go out there and compete and kind of feel like you're on the stage. You know what I mean? So
I love it. Tomorrow night's actually going to be under the lights too. I feel like I always run a little bit better on the lights. So
the weather's a little bit nicer, a little cooler, which is great for us distance runners. And this is a pretty tight race actually, coming around the back straightaway, back corner. And
South.
Looks like South out front right now with Memorial and Salem trying to catch him. And it's going to be tight. The Memorial and Salem are trying to kick, and it looks like those two are going to come through. And we're going to pan over to the results, and it looks like that was a close finish. I think Salem might have got him. Yep. McDonald from Salem with 53.54.
0.03 separated the two.
And that's what you get right there. That's a lean. That's a little bob at the end that gets you that. So great race and great finish from those two.
Results for a 400-meter run.
See, we got one more heat, right? One more heat. So we got heat 4, right?
Yep.
Ian Ripperger, Portsmouth. Dennis Bulldog, Portsmouth. Alexander Mckenzie of Memorial. Sebastian Rouge of Memorial. Nate Fletcher of Portsmouth. Kyle Ferrulo of Alvin.
And we are off in the final heat. And we're going to see if we can get some more PRs. It's always great to see athletes of all types PRing. Just brings a little bit more excitement to the whole thing, individually and as a team. And again, it's very close in the back straightaway. Let's see if this turn aids any of them in trying to pull away. And we're seeing a little surge here from, it looks like, one of the Memorial runners coming around the final turn. And it looks like we have back-to-back Memorial runners, first and second, with Portsmouth on the inside trying to close.
These are all freshmen and sophomore right here.
This is the future right here. You have two Memorials, first, second, and then you have three Portsmouth following up.
Oh, Memorial's coming up. Oh, I think the other one got him.
And he got him right at the end. So we're going to have Rouge from Memorial, 55.57, and his teammate, Mckenzie, at 55.87, followed by three Portsmouth boys, ranging from 56 low to 57 mid, and following by Alvern at 58.13. Now we're going to roll into the girls 300-meter hurdles. And we have Allen from Campbell, Moran from Portsmouth, Graves from Pinkerton, Rajko from Salem, Lavelle from Exeter, and O'Brien from Pinkerton.
Yep. Tori Allen's brother just won the mile. Hefe Allen, he's known by.
And that's one of the things that I think both of you and I have experienced is going back and doubling or tripling in events, especially when championship season comes around, and being able to perform in all types of events, even though you may be a little fatigued from your previous events.
Yep.
I know the most I think I've done is 3 or 4 events in one competition. I know at least last year for indoor states, I did, I think, 3 events.
You guys are trying to clutch out a title.
Yeah, and that's how it is. I mean, it comes down to, are you willing to sacrifice your individual performance and how you feel for your team? And I believe that people all around the state have been doing that more and more often, which is great to see.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes in great preparation and discipline to be able to go and do multiple events and perform at a high level.
So Amelia Graves is the top seed in here, 47.5. I'm gonna make a pro guess here and say she's gonna run 47.2.
47.2
for the win. Yep, that's what I'm saying right now.
And that's very reasonable.
47.2, stamp it.
You were right on with your boy in the other race. So
Yeah, I'm feeling good about my chances.
see if you
my
can go
betting
2 for
chances.
2.
Make sure they're all the way down. Chicago White Sox marks, please.
Got to put them to Chicago White Sox marks.
First and second call, girls 800-meter run. First and second call, girls 800-meter run. First call, boys 800.
Takes them a little bit to put the hurdles out. Which race are you looking forward to today?
I'm a big distance guy. I mean, but I also am really looking forward to the 800 is going to be exciting. I like to see some speed.
Yep.
It's a shorter race, but it has just as much excitement as the mile does, and it's just shorter. So you're still going to see some kicks. You're going to see them go out hard, and you're going to see a lot of grit because you're going to go into that second lap.
Yep.
Really just trying to battle, try to prevent that wall from hitting you too early. But the 2 mile, I think it's going to be exciting. It looks like it's going to be a pretty even-keeled race all around. You're going to have a good group up front, and it's going to see who can really just take it out and try to PR.
Yep. The 2 miles should be a battle between Beatty and Gagnon, and I think it could be those two.
But then you go all the way down to you have a group right behind them that could all be battling for it too.
Yep. And then the 800. Hopefully we can see my boy Fisto India Ashime.
And he didn't compete last year, correct?
Yeah, no, he didn't because, he's a refugee, and you got to get the paperwork and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
but
a lot of stuff involved.
Fisto is you want to talk about determination and staying positive through the whole process because it's hard. It's not easy to come to America. It's not easy to do what you love, but like to compete. But luckily we got his papers and we did all this stuff for him.
Worked it out, yeah.
And man, he is a talent. And
well,
he loves it. It's
and
not
that's
even
the thing.
He is as talented as can be, but he's as hardworking as can be. He's got both.
And finding an individual that has that talent but also has that work ethic is rare.
Yep.
And when you do find them, it's you really want to cherish that type of athlete. And I have something very similar back at school in Michigan. For people who do not know, I go to Grand Valley State in Allendale, Michigan. It's over by the lake, and we have a couple athletes that do come from Africa, and we have some very talented athletes. One of the guys that I'm pretty close with, he came from Africa, from Kenya, to run here and kind of build his life up. And yeah, I've never seen a happier kid. Just having the chance and the ability to run here is something that a lot of kids don't get to do, refugee-wise. And so it's really
infectious, too.
Yeah.
And you see them happy, and then you get happy, and then everybody's happy.
And he's a clown. He shows up late to practice sometimes, and he just plays it off, and we love him. And it's just kind of nice to see someone who doesn't take everything for granted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it kind of like puts things in a different perspective, and kind of makes you enjoy it more because someone else that you see is having a good time.
Yep, totally agree. It's great. All right, looks like they're getting ready here. What did I say? 47-2. Amelia Graves, 47-2. It's stamped. It's put down. Now she's got to do it.
But I also wouldn't count out. We have Katya Rajko.
Katya.
She could be right there. I feel like it's going to come down to between those two, and I feel like those two could very well push each other to a PR.
All right, we'll give her a time then. Let's see a time. Stamp it.
47-18.
Oh, so you're going to say she's going to win by .02?
I told you, they're going to battle out, and I feel like they're going to push each other to a PR.
All right, well, let's see. Would you be willing to stamp it?
I'll stamp it.
He's stamping it. And they're off. Here they go. Oh, do you hear that? Sounds like a 47-2 that's going to happen right here. Could be even faster. I mean, there's been some fast times today. Perfect weather. Everything's perfect.
Yeah, this is honestly a very picture-perfect day. Not too much wind, especially when you're coming into certain events that you prefer not to have it. And just all around, great weather.
Amelia Graves out in front. She's thinking in her head, hey, you know what would be a nice time? 47-2.
And we actually have Exeter coming up. You have Sydney Lavelle, the freshman, coming up and trying to fight for that second.
Oh, man, they shattered. They shattered expectations.
That is crazy right there.
That is a humongous PR.
I mean, obviously, you were right on with the individual, the athlete that won it, but we were both wrong on that time.
I mean, I think I remember saying 46.09.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Wow, shattering expectations. You love to see it.
Love to see it. Yeah, what a day.
Nice dub. What do we got next? So now we got April Weeks of Portsmouth, Angela Hagstrom, Portsmouth, Courtney Lopez, South, Sabrina Sherman, Exeter, Natalie DeSelitz, Merrimack. And Courtney Lopez is the top seed, 49-19. And they're off. Man, that was fast. 46.
That's cruising.
You ever do the hurdles?
I actually had not done anything truly hurdle related. I did a little bit. So we go to Clipper Relays, and there was a point where I was considering doing one of the
Steeple.
Yeah, it wasn't. I forget what we were doing, but it was something similar that I was considering doing, but I ended up not doing it. So I've actually been doing a lot of hurdle stuff in college now. We were preparing myself as if I was going to be doing steeple. The whole freshman class was actually. But as we see South out front,
it's Courtney Lopez, top
really
seed
cruising.
You run fast too. 48 mid.
48.55, followed by 49.18 by Portsmouth, and then 49.23 by Hagstrom from Portsmouth also, 51.72, and to round it out, 53.95 by
They're
Merrimack.
happy about it. It's a day of PRs. They're all PRing out here.
And I know an athlete always wants more, but you have to work your way up to what you want. And being able to PR really, like I said, sets you up. And it builds that confidence that you're going to need to go out there and continue to PR.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a big barrier right there. So they just broke 50 seconds for the first time. So when you break it once and then you continue to break it, you see it all the time. Like once you break 4:30 once on the mile, you just keep on breaking it.
And then it just continues to be that thing.
You break 9:40, you keep doing it and doing it and doing it. You break 16 minutes in the 5K.
Yeah, exactly. It becomes contagious almost. You know,
it's the craziest thing because it's the hardest thing in the world to do. Like I remember my road to breaking 16 minutes, and it was just like I can't do it. I finished sophomore year 16:06, and I'm like I just don't know how to do it. And then like second race of my junior year, I broke it, and then I barely ever was over.
And that's the thing.
It's unbelievable.
It's like once you build the confidence, you know you can do it. It becomes a habit, and when you do it consistently, it's it's incredible because you want more. Once
Yep.
you do it enough, you're just like, this isn't enough. You want more, and you want more, and you want more. And that's something that all athletes can say. I mean, you
Yep.
look at any of these athletes, you want to throw further, you want to jump higher, you want to jump further,
That's
you
the
want to run
beauty of it.
faster. There is no limit to any of these athletes, and that's what's great to see these PRs. Because it's going to
Exeter's-
spring them forward. But
Exeter's got a huge lead. That's Camilla McKayler. She's gonna run fast too. Ooh. 48.7.
McAleer, 48.88.
48.88.
Connors, Memorial, 51.01.
That's what'd she just PR by?
dominant.
She's PR by 3 seconds.
That was a dominant performance by McAleer from Exeter, followed by 51.01 from Memorial, 52.37 from. So we're going into the girls 300-meter hurdle final heat. We have Brackett from Co-Brown, Belanger from Co-Brown, Barham from Sauhegan, Nani from Co-Brown, and Zanis from Merrimack.
Geez, at this rate, they're all 53, 53, 52, 53, 53 for the seeds. We'll see if someone breaks 50. That's been the trend here. Let's just PR by 5 seconds in the 300-meter hurdles.
I'm okay with it.
Makes it more exciting for us. Lights are on.
Your attention, please.
Lights are on.
All non-competing Merrimack athletes, please report to the discus circle in the southwest corner of the track. All non-competing Merrimack Tomahawk
Looks like
athletes,
Sauhegan's got a lead. That's
please step off the discus in the
Barham,
southwest
Ashley
corner
Barham.
of the track.
And she's looking good coming around this final turn.
Yeah, she's hauling.
Looking very strong.
She's trying to ride the 50 train.
Pretty smooth over the hurdles.
Come on now.
Followed by Nani from Co-Brown. Let's see what she can do in this final one.
She's going to have a big PR. 52.
Coming through.
52 mid to high.
52 high, 52.7.
So slight PR. PR by like 0.09.
Still a PR.
PR's a PR, baby.
Co-Brown always did this thing. It was called PR Pop. So if you PR'd in a race, a season PR, or it's a lifetime PR,
Yeah.
you get like a popsicle during one of the practices.
Nice.
And it was one of the most rewarding things. You PR, and on one of those hot days of practice, you go over and get one of those popsicles, and you just felt refreshed.
Get a nice popsicle.
Oh, yeah. It was a good time. It's something that you almost look forward to, even though, I mean, you should be focused on the run. Just thinking about that popsicle at the end of the day just really made it.
What flavor?
Dude, I've always been one of the green guys.
Oh,
I really like the green. I mean, blue's okay, but
I always knew you were a green guy.
I've always been a green guy. Favorite color? What were you?
Probably purple.
Yeah,
Probably
I
purple.
could
Probably
see you as a
grape.
purple guy. Grape guy. Classic.
Anything but orange, really. I don't mess with orange. Or white. You see the white ones?
Yeah,
You
those
see the
are.
white ones?
So, dude,
Just throw them away.
when you look at any candy like that and you see some new colors, you get kind of skeptical.
Yeah.
You know
it
what I
ain't
mean?
right. It just.
It's like
not
Skittles. They're adding these new flavors. It's like, come on now.
right. Skittles are so good, though.
Oh, I know. Sour
Skittles are so
yeah.
good.
Yeah, we know we're talking about candy. I
Sour
just want candy.
Skittles?
Sour Skittles are the bomb.
Those hit different.
Dude, after all, I know that they destroy your mouth. My mouth is bleeding after I ate those things, but yeah, Skittle Pox like the commercial.
It's not a bad,
Alright, no.
bad idea if you can make that happen. Skittles Pox, but would you get sour Skittles?
Yeah, I would make that happen.
You got last place medals. Just give it Jackson.
Got my boy Jackson Wilkes in the booth.
Thank you.
Kid's on cloud 9 right now from his Heat 2 win in the 400. And they're off right here. We didn't even announce this. Boys 300, so we got Xavier Provost from North, Connor Cellini from Pinkerton, Adam Spencer from Pinkerton, Ryan Kenny of Memorial, Thomas Gerton of Memorial, Anthony Farmer of Timberlane.
And we're just having a good time up here.
Adam Spencer's, I mean, he's a real deal.
Pinkerton's out front. They're cruising right now, pushing each other. That's something that you can't take for granted. Having a teammate that can push you right now is
Yeah.
it's one of the greatest feelings.
Oh, they're gonna run something fast right here.
Spencer and Selene
Oh, wow.
in this heat.
They
39 fit.
flew.
Both of them?
Oh my goodness.
Both of them just broke 40.
Sub 40. Talk about a race.
41.91, Falma 42.
I mean, it wasn't even close. Both of them sub 40, followed by a 41.91, 42.52 for Timberlane, 42.9 for Girton from Memorial, and
Big.
44.25.
It's a big
Round it
PR
out.
for Selene right there.
Going into the second heat of the boys 300-meter hurdles, we have Richards from Concord, Lamar from Exeter, McLeod from Londonderry, Perry from North, and Kelly from Portsmouth.
That was impressive.
Now, I don't know if we're going to see anything quite like that. That was very impressive to see both guys go under, but I feel like we can still see some pretty fast times, maybe a couple PRs in these next couple heats.
Jeez, now I'm thinking, what are they going to do in the 800?
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you.
155 out here.
Well, just to see Allen come back, he
True.
hasn't really put together one of those races that he really, really wants this season. To see him come out there, I believe that's going to jumpstart and kickstart something that's going to be great for him this year.
Yep.
So this is the meat.
And he soaks up this when he gets to come and go against D1 because he's Campbell's Division III and he's the king. He can beat anybody in Division III. There's no hate on D3. There's a couple good guys.
Yeah, you definitely have a
come
good
out
amount of
here.
individuals that will come out here and perform. It looks like we have Portsmouth out front.
Andrew Kelly.
And
He's
Kelly
gonna
is
run
to win this heat
42
with a
high.
time of 42.78. McLeod at 43.48.
The big PR. It's a 2-second PR for him.
Wow. We're going into the third heat, and we have Yudkin from Merrimack, Bailey from Merrimack, Ahern from Co-Brown, Maloney from North, and Palermo from Portsmouth.
That's always so funny. Aiden Ahern.
Yeah,
From
and-
Co-Brown.
and- Yeah,
You had a Aiden Ahern. I had an Aiden O'Hearn.
yeah, I saw that and I was like, wait a minute, this can't be right. But yeah,
Hold on.
and I know they do a couple different events, but yeah, I mean, both of those guys, both Aidens can turn it on and kind of pull away in certain races. And let's see what Aiden has in this one. He's been working hard throughout the season.
Jeez, he's out hard.
He went out hard.
He went out hard.
He almost went out a
we're
little bit
talking
too hard going
about
into that first hurdle, but he's looking good over this one. He looks like he's going to be in a good spot coming into the corner.
We gotta put the two Aherns and O'Hearns together.
Yeah, we do. We got to get a picture, actually.
No, I was thinking like jousting.
Oh, after hours. After hours.
All right.
Coming into the final turn, let's see what they have. Looks like Portsmouth is still leading it. We have Aiden Palermo in front,
Oh, that was
followed
smooth.
by Cameron Maloney from North and Aiden Ahern from Co-Brown.
Portsmouth
It's going to
gets
be close.
Smooth over the hurdles.
43.69 for Portsmouth. Palermo. Co-Brown edged out North by 0.13 seconds, followed by Merrimack, 46.58 and 48.50 from Merrimack, rounding it out.
I don't know how many times I'm gonna say it, but that was another 2-second PR right there for the win.
2 seconds is the move.
I guess so.
And if you can PR
Jeez,
2
I should
seconds
run
in a
100. I should run a 100-meter right
honestly,
now. Get a 2-second PR.
yeah, I'll just be in the Olympics.
No, hey.
No
hey,
way. No
I'm
way.
not that good.
Hey, I
alright?
ain't gonna run the 9.88 that
I was thinking maybe coming from 15 down to 13.
yeah, I'm not gonna say I'm fast at all.
And I won't either.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been the one to say I have a kick. You know, you can say that you've had some sort of kick, but we're off in this one.
no, yeah.
I'm
You-
working
you
on.
always-
I'm working on it.
Yeah, you're doing those 15s. You're always tough, smart racer.
I could hang out and I could really push it throughout the race. It's just kind of piecing it together at the end. That's going to be something that I'm really looking forward to figuring out over my college career.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Is you just, you think you got a good kick, and then you go to the next level and just
Yeah.
get absolutely blown.
Well,
out.
that's the thing is like you go from being the big fish
You
in a
adapt.
small pond, and then you go to this big like lake. Not even a pond anymore. You go to a lake.
You're going to Lake Michigan. Right?
Yeah, I'm literally in Lake Michigan compared to Pleasant Lake and Deerfield.
Hey,
And
whoa! No disrespect in Pleasant
Hey,
Lake.
I love
and
Pleasant Lake.
Deerfield.
Don't get me wrong. I've been there my whole life. But
It's
we're gonna go through. It looks like
Knoll,
Knoll,
Dover. 45-32.
Followed by Damus from South, 45.9. Hatch from Dover, 46.41. Whitforth from Portsmouth, 46.43. And Cruz from Memorial did not finish, sadly.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
So now we're going into the girls' 800-meter run with Cottle from Salem, Graves from Pinkerton, Laird from Co-Brown, Mercier from Exeter, Swain from South, Nault from Memorial, Dubois from Alvern, and McDonough from Londonderry.
So fast and slow then, huh?
It looks...
Yeah,
it looks like it's going to be fast and slow. Yep, that's how we're going to be doing it the entire meet. And we're going to see what we can put together for some. We're going to see if we can get some fast times in this.
Oh, tight! Look how tight we got. So we got 10 girls from 224
to 230. And we've been seeing 2-second PR. So if you take a 2-second PR, this race is wide open.
Good.
And just obviously you look at the 224 flat that Sylvia Cotto put together, followed by the Pinkerton 224.66, Macy Graves.
Just saw her sister win the 300 hurdles. Hopefully she goes off of that. That whole Graves family is talk about athletes right there.
Talk about athletes.
But Calvin.
One to really watch, though, is Sophie Laird from Co-Brown, as she is in the third spot at 225.26. She has a kick, and if she races it smart, she has a very good chance of pulling away at that final straightaway, but she has to run it smart and not be too aggressive in the beginning. So we're going to see what she can do here, and we're going to see if any of these other runners are going to come out and be contenders.
Morgan Nault is obviously good. 228. She's seated from Memorial.
And we have Sarah Zarakotas, one of our actual former teammates.
Yeah.
And your current teammate, she's a Deerfield girl. She's right there, so we never know if any of these girls could pop a race.
Results, boys, 300 hurdles.
Very tight pack.
Jeez, girl.
And there we go right there. We have a fall right off the bat.
And that was a Cole Brown girl.
And that was Sophie Laird, like we talked about. But since it's so early in the race, we are going to be able to go back. And it looks like we are possibly going to be able to restart this race.
That might hit the times.
That could hurt. It looks like Sophie is still down. Laird from Cole Brown is still down, and we're going to see if she will be able to continue. And that's just something that comes with this type of sport, that you have these issues and you have these barriers that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
I've fallen down in workouts, and it's something you just kind of get up and you have to keep going. But hopefully she's good enough to continue.
Like even last week, I had a hangnail, and it was taking me out mentally, and I had to compete. Bottom line.
And it looks like Sophie Laird is going to get back up onto the line.
Good for her.
And I mean, you got to fight. Cobrown's a bunch of fighters, and she is definitely a fighter. So
She's
like she has a smile on her
She's
face.
laughing. Good for her.
I mean, that's something not everyone can do. So good for her. She's going to get back on there. You got to shake it out. It's one of those things that's going to shake you up mentally, but you got to get back out there and compete. And
if you look on it, the bright side, if you didn't like how you went out the first time,
you got to redo.
You get a redo.
And if anything, that almost gives her a little bit of an edge against these competitors and saying, I'm not going to let you do that again. I'm going to take you all. So,
well, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
She could be going out there for blood now.
She could be going out for blood. She could also that could have also taken some out of her. We're going to see what she can do. But
yeah, I mean, that was a pretty far. Yeah, like I would be settled in pretty much by then.
Yeah, that was 50 meters out. Usually at that point, you get out hard enough and you start to relax. But it's one of those things that you kind of just got to shake it off. And as her former teammate, we all know that she has a little aggressiveness in her. So we're going to see if she can kind of piece it together.
Who got someone else went down in that race?
It looks like the other one was? It looks like it could have been the South girl, Hannah Swain. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like Hannah Swain from South might have clipped Sophie on the inside.
Yeah, it was a tough angle.
It was tough. I mean, I'm not quite sure exactly how it went down, but from our angle, it could have looked like it just might have been a little mix-up of legs.
Yeah, it happens.
And it happens. Can't be mad at him.
I just thought I fell doing strides. We were doing strides on the track, our team, and I got cut off and I fell. We all fell over each other doing strides.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You never really know. Like I said, I was in a workout. I was at UNH doing a workout with some of the boys a couple of years ago, and actually River Groves, and he was trying to make an aggressive move on a workout, and he clipped me, and I was pretty frustrated. But you got to take a step back and just realize, like, hey, it happens.
Oh, my God, they got that was went down again.
But you look it out. Sophie did go out harder this time. She's out in front, leading it with the. It looks like a couple of girls hanging off the back. We still got a good pack in that group. And now anyone in an 800, and I like to say anyone can generally run a good 400 for the 800.
Yeah.
Now what really happens is they're going to hit this bell lap, and they're going to hit a wall. Oh. And now we're going to really see who has it and who can really grind it out.
Yeah, that's Graves in the front. These girls are
Graves is going to look to take it away.
Clipping each other.
This is a chippy race.
I like it.
Something we haven't seen today, actually.
72. So on pace for what they're seated at. So we'll see how they close. This Graves looks like she's taking off. Oh.
And then it looks like
Cole Brown girl. This will be a good one. This will be a good finish.
Good. I'm liking it. I like the chippiness that we had. And I know it's not always the most exciting thing to restart as an athlete, but this is going to be something.
It's great.
Yeah, as a spectator and a fan.
More running.
Yeah, exactly. And more commentating for us. So coming on this back straightaway. Very close between Graves and it looks like maybe Grace Mercier from Exeter.
No, I think that's Sylvia. Yeah.
Sylvia Cottle from Salem, and it looks like Grace is trying to take away with Sophie Laird in third. So it was planning out to be their seed times, their places right now. But we're going to see if Salem has anything left in the tank and try to see if she can close.
She looks like she's going to come out one more move, but I don't know.
She's got to swing right now. She's got to go. And Salem's taking off.
Yep, she had one more move. It's going to be tight.
Sylvia Cottle's going to try to go for it.
And now does Graves have one more?
Does Graves have another gear?
Nope.
And it looks like Salem's going to edge her out at the very end.
Oh. Well, Evan, I wish I could say 2 seconds, but instead I can say 4.
Yeah, but we also got to count in the restart.
4-second PR right there.
That's, hey, incredible.
Cattle 220.36.
You look at it, you go through. You have a 4-second PR for the first two. You have a 2-second PR for Laird from Co Brown, and then from there you have a lot. You have back to the 3-4 seconds for the rest of the field.
That's what you like to see. All right, Heat 2. We got Ellen Baker of Portsmouth, Brielle Ducharme of South, Zoe Getman of Portsmouth, Allison Silverstein of Concord, Jenny Ladd of Sauhegan, Katrina Breen of Dover, Adele Alexander of Merrimack, Kayla Rowell of Exeter, Erin Murray of Merrimack, Nadia Zavecha of South, Mckenzie Hayden of Sauhegan, Samantha LeMay of Co-Brown. Top seed is 231.
And it looks like this one's still kind of in a pack, but it's kind of stringing out a little bit more than the first race.
Well, they got through the first bend without falling, so I guess, you know.
And the waterfall start, you have the two out in front, way out in front right now. And we're going to see if they relax back into it. You obviously don't want to go out too hard in that first lap if you're going to try to have something in the end. And it looks like the rest of the pack is trying to catch up. It looks like they're going to catch up, and it's still kind of spread
35 right there.
They're
it's
cruising.
A hammer fest
They're
right
cruising,
now.
Yeah.
On pace to run 220. This looks like it's Kayla Rowell on front. Is that Exeter?
From Exeter, yep.
Yeah. Then
Followed
LeMay.
by, looks like LeMay from
It's a Deerfield girl.
That's another Deerfield girl right there. You see Portsmouth making a move, trying to take the lead, going to the final lap.
Doing like 72.
Yeah, they're going to go through around 72 low, yep.
That's what the Fassi went through.
So now it looks like Portsmouth's really trying to take it away from the rest of the field, but you see LeMay trying to catch up.
It's probably Baker, I'd assume.
Let's see what LeMay has.
Will gentlemen 2 through 6 please report to the press box to pick up your award?
And it's really stringing out now. You have a Portsmouth sandwich with LeMay in the middle. And LeMay's trying to close the gap slightly, but it looks like they're kind of holding right now.
Yeah, it seems pretty steady. 1, 2, and 3 kind of. The gap is actually, like, nobody looks like they're making a crazy move. We'll see. Last 200.
And it looks like Portsmouth's going to be able to hold off Coe Brown for a little bit longer. It looks like this is how it could finish, but we're going to see if Portsmouth's able to have a kick and catch that second Coe Brown runner.
It does look like this is Ellen Baker out front. See how hard she can close. 2:10, 100 to go.
And it looks like she's going to be able to close it out pretty comfortably. And we're going to see if LeMay's able to hold them off. Portsmouth's trying to come hard, but we're going to see.
Wow.
And LeMay is going to be able to hold off Portsmouth.
That's a 5-second PR.
Dude, I'm telling you.
PRs on PRs.
There's something about this track.
PRs.
There's something about this track. It's almost like they're just gliding across.
We got one more heat. One more heat.
Yep.
Led off by Ali Lucci of Concord. Carrie Gannon of Timberlane. Amelia Edmonds of Coe Brown. Ellie McRitchie of Exeter. Cassie Hemming of Campbell. Samantha Franks of Pinkerton. Kaylin Rourke of Londonderry. Caroline Dobbins of North. Bethany Graham of Salem. Paige Graziano of Memorial. And Emma Gannon of Salem. Starting to get colder out here. Getting good. Getting real good.
And this is when it kind of gears towards the distance side of events.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, yeah, you might want a little bit longer warm-up. Maybe wear a little bit more layers, try to really warm up the entire body. But racing-wise, it's perfect.
Looks like they're going out pretty good. You know.
They look like they're going out pretty hard, and again, it's a cluster. So it's just kind of watching where your feet are. And just kind of hoping everyone's going to keep it moving and not really slow down.
Jeez, they run clumped.
And that's something that can either benefit you or it can kind of take away from the race if you're in a pack, because generally if you're in a pack, a lot of people tend to slow down and you have a breakaway or so, but at the same time, it's easier to take laps from each other, so it kind of depends if you're working together or not.
Yep. I think this is Cassie Hemming. Campbell up front. She looks pretty strong. But, you know, like you said, anybody can run 400 and 800, so we'll see how they come back. They look pretty good right now.
And I was one of those people that was always like, oh, the 800 can't be that bad. Oh, go out and try one, and you'll understand what we talk about when you hit a wall.
Exeter coming up. Going through around
So nice.
74. It's funny how all of them,
Let's go
like,
74.
all three of the heats went out pretty similarly. Guess it's how you close.
Yeah, that's really what it is, and it seems like they like to go out a little bit slower and try to close fast, but we'll see what happens here. As we have one out in front with two chasing and a little pack behind them.
Yeah, we still got Cassie Hemming.
And this is the point where you really got to focus on form. Form is going to really help carry you through this. Got to get those arms down, extend the stride just a tiny bit, just enough to get some more power into it. But you also want to make sure you have a good cadence. Yeah. So a quick pop, pop, pop to get the speed going.
Looks like Ellie McRitchie's coming out from Exeter. Should make for a tight finish. Oh. Another move there.
Stop right there. Stop right there.
Gosh, you know, go away with it, Cassie Hemming.
For
232, 2.5.
for Hemming from Campbell,
Hemming of Campbell.
followed by Lucci from Concord at 2:35. Gannon from Timberland, 2:35.75, so about half a second behind the second place runner. McRitchie from Exeter at 2:35.8. And then followed by 2:37.56 from Salem. Co-Brown 2:38.78. Londonderry 2:39.46, and Salem at 2:42.49.
All right, boys 800.
This could be the race of the evening.
Yeah, we got my
if
guy.
it goes out like we think.
Fisto Indaya Shime, Concord. Ryan Devine, Deerfield boy from Concord. Ryan Moyer of Dover. Eben Bragg of Concord. Porter Higas of Co-Brown. Jeffrey Allen, Campbell, the mile winner. Nolan Preble of Pinkerton. Paul Boletto of Alvern. Josh Philo, Merrimack, and Dawson Dubois.
And this is the most stacked race of the night.
This kid from Dover is a real deal, too. Oh, yeah. He's pretty fast.
First heat, boys 800.
They're going out. Looks like they're going out.
And believe it or not, none of these guys have actually run sub-2 yet. So I believe very strongly that we're going to see a 158, if not faster, tonight.
Paul Boletto out in front.
All these guys have the
at
speed.
28.
If you're gonna leave this down to a kick at the end, we're gonna see a phenomenal finish. As we're seeing, we're having a group up front, about 5 to 6 runners up front, with a small pack behind him, including Jeffrey Allen, like he did in his previous race in the mile. He likes to hang back and slowly work his way up, but he only has 2 laps this time instead of 4.
It's Paul Boletto and Ryan Moyer, and then Ryan Devine coming up on the side. You got Fisto coming up.
Fisto all the way
Fisto's
in lane 3. That's how jam-packed this race is right now.
Come on, cut in. Going through in like 60.
And Fisto is still out in lane 2, and
We'll see how they come back. You got
Higas hanging in there in 3rd.
2 Concord boys going 1-2.
Looks like you have a Dover
Jeff
on the
Allen's
outside.
coming up hard.
Jeff Allen's got to go on the inside if he's going to try it. Looks like Higas is going to give it to him, which may be a mistake in the end. We're going to see. Allen's going to try to hang on there. He looks like you can see a little grit in his face. He's going to try to go up with Fisto. He has the speed right now. It looks like he's casually just doing this right now. He's taking away.
Porter's coming up.
200 meters to go, and it looks like
Eben Bragg comes up pretty good here too.
Allen's looking good right now. We're going to see if he still has it or if he went too early. You're having Higas come on the outside around Fisto.
Yep, and Ryan.
Followed by Ryan. This is going to be a close finish. If not for first, it's going to be close for 2nd and 3rd, I'll tell you that. You see Allen, he's really starting to tense up. Can he hold it for the final finish? You see Higas really closing on him. We're going to see if Higas can get this. And it looks like Allen is dying. It looks like Higas might get him. We're going to see what happens. But Allen's got another gear. He's going to finish it off, and we got a really good race for the finish. Jeffrey Allen doubles his champion for this race.
159.65.
A little bit off on my prediction.
159.98. Ryan, 2 flat, 72. Eben, 201.05. Fisto, 202.68. Philo, 202.86. Preble, 202.94.
And talk about some grit and determination on Allen's part. He goes and wins the mile on the same strategies he took in this race. Comes back, sits on the first lap, takes off with about 100 to go in the first lap, and then just goes for it and guns it on the second.
He's got to get. He's tough.
Tough kid.
Yeah.
Double winner. Yeah.
Double winner.
As we just heard.
Winner, yeah.
Yep. Going for the second heat of the boys' 800 meter.
We got Jeff Mize of Pinkerton, Kerry Daly of Londonderry, Andrew Frothingham of Merrimack, Ryan Fisher of Merrimack, Colby Hoffman of Co-Brown, Josh Lentz of North, Brian English, Salem, Zach Aham of Pinkerton, Luke Gomes of Campbell, Ethan McPhee of Souhegan.
And we see them going out pretty hard right now. I don't know. I feel like this is slightly faster than we saw in the last one, but I'm not quite sure.
We'll see. They go through in about 29.
And the Merrimack Invitational champion, 2 minutes 20.36 seconds from the Salem Blue Devils.
Coming around into the last straightaway for the first lap of 2. Still strung out like it was in the last race, but this is the time where we saw Allen start to kick it. Are we going to see something similar? And we do see, it looks like a Londonderry athlete on the outside.
Should be Kerry Daly.
Yep.
But that's Jeff Mize leading it.
We have Merrimack. We have, looks like a couple Pinkerton in there.
Yep, you got
Pinkerton and, yeah.
Brian English of Salem coming up there. He's exceeding his seed time right now.
So we got a one-man race for first right now, followed by a close race for second and third by about 3 athletes, with Kobe Hoffman from Cole Brown hanging on in that 5th spot. Let's see if he can group up. He looks like he's going to hang on to that group. Let's see if he can kick in the end and try to get a top 3 podium finish. Coming around the edge, it looks like Pinkerton's looking pretty comfortable in first spot. Pinkerton also holding the 2nd spot.
Tell you what, Luke
Looks
Gomes
at
from Campbell's
Londonderry.
making a good move right now.
You're seeing a
Luke Combs from
rocket
Campbell's
holy,
gonna win this.
and he is taking off comfortably.
204.
And he's even easing up at the end.
Campbell.
So 204 for Gomes from Campbell, 205 from Fisher from Merrimack. Londonderry 205.51, 205.71 for Pinkerton. Cole Brown in 5th, 205.87. Pinkerton at 207.77. North is 208.35, and Salem is 208.57.
Third heat, boys 800.
We're going into the final heat of the boys 800-meter run. We have Fraser from Memorial, Nowak from Londonderry, Dickinson from Souhegan, Hamilton from Portsmouth, Burpow from Londonderry, Strauss from Souhegan, Montville from Portsmouth, and Santos from Melbourne. And we are joined back by Jim Mckenzie.
Well, that was pretty good, huh? A little Campbell soup.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff. Like to see it. We're off in the final heat.
Fraser, Memorial, Nowak.
It looks like Jeffrey Allen's coming into his own.
Yeah, that was a great race from Jeffrey Allen. To see him double like that, this is what he needed to really kickstart his championship season. And hopefully he can carry that through in the next couple races and show that he is still a contender for any of these races. As we see, we're still in a pretty tight pack like the last 2 heats. And going into the 3rd turn. Looks like we got a Londonderry athlete, we got a Memorial athlete, we got Portsmouth up front. Looks like almost 2 Portsmouth athletes, followed by another Campbell. So out in front we have Christian Fraser, looking pretty comfortable. Followed by possibly Tristan Hamilton from Portsmouth.
Montville. That's Montville in second.
Montville. And Fraser still looking pretty comfortable out front. You got Montville trying to close a little bit. Looks about equal between 1st and 2nd and 2nd and 3rd. Battle for 4th. Looks like we have Trevor Scoplitis from Campbell. Looks like he's taking over that 4th spot. So we see Montville and Tristan Hamilton taking over Fraser in the 1st spot, and those 2 are going to duke it out on the final straightaway. Coming around, Montville's looking strong, starting to really fire those arms. Is he going to be able to carry that through?
2 Portsmouth guys.
Tristan Hamilton really taking it away right now. It looks like he's going to be able to hold it and carry it through.
Good quality time.
And 207.1 for Hamilton. Montville, 208.16. Scoplitis from Campbell, 210. Fraser from Memorial, who was leading the majority of that race, 210.73. And, yeah, some great races right there. I don't know if we're going to see, to be honest, that first 800 was incredible. And to see Jeffrey Allen do what he did, I know we talk about him, we've been talking about him a lot, but that was some real grit and determination in that race after already winning the mile.
Yeah, him and High gets chopped off 5 seconds.
And that's something you don't see every day.
Nope.
Now we're going to go into the girls 200-meter dash. Heat 1 out of 5. We have Padelorado from Timberlane, Lip Trap from Salem, Graves from Pinkerton. We've already seen Graves once. We're going to have Fraser from Exeter, Caroma from Merrimack, and Suaza from South. As we pan over to the other side of the track.
We have 5 heats of this.
And it looks like the top 2 seeds are 26 mid to 26 high, and the rest following with low 27s to mid 27s. So we could see some more PRs right here, and one of the very well could see someone that's not necessarily ranked top come away with a victory if they have a good start and can hold it throughout 200.
A lot of fast times, huh, tonight?
Yeah. And I mean, we talked about it, and we'll talk about it again more than likely, but this is just an incredibly fast track, great weather, great setup. Merrimack always puts on an A-plus track meet, and it's something to really observe and enjoy while you're involved with it. I know I miss it.
Well, it looks like Graves has got the lead. She's a good quality runner. Oh, it's a close one, though. Graves and McSweeney. I mean, Graves and Frazier, I mean. Graves takes that one. So they look good. So Graves takes that in 26.48. Frazier of Exeter, 26.78. Swaza of South, 27.10. Padalero, Timberlane, 27.27. Lip Trap. Salem, 28.44.
And that was another PR for the top 2 right there, like we talked about. So we have Stevens from South, Lawrence from Portsmouth, Doherty from Concord, Sono from Memorial, McLaughlin from Portsmouth, and Waite from Concord. In the second heat of 5 in the girls' 200-meter dash.
Look at that, flags barely moving. It's perfect.
Yeah, this is beyond perfect.
Results, boys 800.
And it's perfect, especially for these events. No little wind, just straight running. And it just seems like the weather's really on all of our sides today. So coming around, we have maybe Lawrence.
Been fighting all the way to the end.
Close race throughout. Lawrence from Portsmouth, 27.31, followed by Stevens from South, 27.52. Memorial, 27.6. Concord, 27.86. Portsmouth, 28.81, and followed out by Concord, 29.51. Going to our third heat, we have Frazier from Pinkerton, Jenkins from Portsmouth, Edgecombe from Pinkerton, Thibault from Memorial, and Guido from Merrimack.
Third, 2.72, Junior Ryan Devine. Second, 159.98 from Cole Brown, sophomore, Porta Higas. And the Merrimack Invitational winner, his second win of the evening. 1 minute 59.65 seconds, Jeffrey Allen Campbell.
Perfect. Thank you.
Participants 2 through 5, please report to the press box to pick up your awards. And Jeffrey Allen, for the second time today, red tent awaits.
Looks like Londonderry's going to take this, followed by Portsmouth. Ew. Edgecombe from Pinkerton, 27.62. T-Boat of Memorial, 27.85. Jenkins of Portsmouth, 27.93. Frazier, Pinkerton, 28.19. And Guido of Merrimack, 29.45. So in this fourth heat, we got Petruzzi of Exeter, Waters of Londonderry, Mercia of Memorial, Tavares of Nashua North, and Noyes of Sauhegan. So we've only had one false start too tonight,
Yeah.
right? The 800.
We had one earlier for the it was either the hurdles or the 100 meter, but either way, it's been pretty good, pretty equal throughout. And we see them coming around the
It's like
final turn right here. Is that Londonderry out front? Looks like Erica Waters. But it also looks like we have Navia Petruzzi.
Exeter. Yeah, this race is going to change hands again.
Wow, right at the end.
Yeah.
Asia Mercier, Manchester Memorial.
Wow.
Mercia took that.
Memorial came back at
27.83.
the last second, last 20 or so meters.
Waters, Londonderry 2829.
Great finish.
South Higgins 2827.
Especially for a close race like the 200. You don't have much ground to really work with, so to be able to close like that was impressive.
Yeah, she ripped it up in the last 15 yards. So this one we got Brissett of Dover, Langua of Londonderry, Coons of Exeter, Tortorella Lewis of Co-Brown, and Mackey of Co-Brown.
As they just took off on the last heat.
Oh, missing a few.
And we have only 3 competitors in this one.
Coming around, we're actually narrowed down to 3. As we see Tortorella Lewis from Co-Brown on the outside.
Close race. Brissett's leading right now.
Brissett in
Dover.
first,
It's going to change hands, though.
followed by Grace Coons from Exeter.
Wait, Exeter's got a lot of good runners.
Yeah. Very impressive. Good day already.
Exeter 2861.
So Coons of Exeter, 28.61. Brissett of Dover, 29.16. Tortorella Lewis, 29.84.
Now it looks like we're going to get into the boys 200-meter dash. We have 4 heats of this. And leading off the first heat, you have Edmiston from Exeter, Thornton from Merrimack, Salini from Pinkerton, Brooks from Pinkerton, McSweeney from Exeter, followed by Burns, his teammate from Exeter. And we have a pretty even race after the first seed, which is the first seed is 22.84, followed by a good amount of 23, low to mid. And look like it's going to be a battle throughout if everyone gets out and can really race to their potential.
Salini, he's tough. I don't care. I mean, he looked great in the hurdles.
And yeah, he has a comfortable lead. When you're looking at the 200-meter, obviously. He looks like he has a comfortable lead if he gets out and does his thing. But just a little stutter step on the start or any little thing could really change that. So we're going to see if he can get out and stay strong.
He's only a junior, too, but he looked good in those hurdles.
Oh,
Him
yeah.
and Spencer.
He did. And seeing those two really push each other was nice. Being able to find a group of teammates or a couple teammates being able to push each other and get the best of each other is
See
something.
how low he is?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is it's just you see those two right there in the middle. And they're shooting off that final turn. And he's very fluid if you look at him.
Yeah, he cranked that. So Salini took that in 22.79. McSweeney, 23.19 of Exeter.
And that's a PR for
Burns of
for
Exeter,
Sweeney.
23.26. Brooks of Pinkerton, 23.34.
We got a good amount of PRs. Well, that was the first heat of 4. We're going to go into the second heat where we have Gladys from Concord, Cassidy from Londonderry, Walker of Pinkerton, Paul Hummus from Merrimack, and Mulvey from Salem.
He's got quick feet, Salini.
Yeah, he does. He had great turnover, and it definitely showed in that he was very fluid in his upper body. As you can see, some of the other guys who were still ran phenomenal times. They definitely were. He definitely showed that he had his technique down. So
Think about Pinkerton. They got most of their bases covered for a state championship.
yeah, they really do, and they're biggest school in the state, so they have a good amount of kids that they can kind of groom through, which they work to their benefit. They use it every year, and it really shows when they're a state title contender every single year, every season. And that was a close race, close
Very
finish.
close.
And it was Londonderry. Cassidy from Londonderry, 23.37.
Wow, hundredth of a second.
Hundredth of a second. Followed by Mulvey of Salem, like we said, 100th of a second at 23.38. Followed by Pinkerton, 23.84, 24.13 of Concord. Going into
Doesn't get much closer than that.
no, it can't. Going into Heat 3, we have Miller of North, Snyder of Concord, Bagley of Londonderry, Ouellette from North, and Medlock from Merrimack. And what's crazy is I was just in the in New Hampshire last year competing for my senior season, and just seeing all these new names, it just kind of like makes you take a step back. It's like, wow, I don't really recognize the majority of these athletes, and seeing some of these really young athletes is it's kind of neat. It's different from what I came into high school with. We had a lot of these top guns that were older and some seniors, and now you're seeing a lot of these new freshmen and sophomore phenoms coming out, which is great to see. As we see, it looks like Londonderry, Khalik Bagley in front, followed closely by
Wow. Concord's going to pull it out in the end.
Snyder. Close race, 24.05 by Concord. Not as close as the last race, but 24.2 by Londonderry, 24.8 by North, 25.12 by Merrimack. And to round it out, we have North, who sadly did not finish. Nice seeing you. So we're going into the final heat of the boys 200-meter dash. We have Daniels from Alvern, Orofsky from Salem, Jennison from Dover, Caswell from Salem, and Cardenas from Alvern.
We were just speaking with Jeffrey Allen just briefly. He had a great night tonight.
Great night. And he definitely should be proud of what he did, but he still definitely has some work to do if he wants to continue to improve. You're seeing them come around that corner, flying right now. You have
There's a
Salem.
hammy.
There goes the hammy. And you hate to see that. It's one of those injuries.
That's a big guy, too.
It's one of those injuries that you don't want to – you don't like seeing whatsoever just because you know how detrimental it can be to a season.
So Jennison of Dover took that 24.89. Daniels of Alvern 24.93. Caswell of Salem 24.99. Cardenas of Alvern 25.58.
And the injured athlete was Orofsky from Salem. And it's one of those things that it happens, but it definitely stinks to see it on the stage that you like to perform at. So we're going to go into the girls' 3,200-meter run, which also could be one of the races of the night. When you look at the competition that we have in the race, you have Trudell from Souhegan, Cross from Pinkerton, Cox from Coe-Brown, Brachio from North, Zlotnick from Souhegan, Coffin from South, Orcutt from Concord, and again, Zlotnick sisters are both in this. And then from there, we have, we already talked about Callie Coffin. We have Jessica Fontaine, Grace Jordan, Lydia Matheson, Catherine Kennedy, Megan Conway, Tessa Millette, Sarah Jolly, Miranda Compton, and Kaylee McDonough to round it out. We're going to have a...
You think about this, Callie Coffin. She was fourth in New England last year, coming out of the slow heat. And she got injured, so she's still working her way back. But once she gets back... Only a sophomore.
So it looks like we have a pretty good overall heat here. We have one girl, a freshman coming in, breaking that 11-minute barrier with Chloe Trudell, 10:59.12. And then from there we have a slight gap where we go to junior Megan Cross, who comes in at 11:25.84, followed closely by Addison Cox at 11:25.98. So it's gonna be one of those races that we could see a one runner take it away and just kind of do their own thing, as we've seen before with runners like Jackie Gahn and Robitaille. We've seen that before, but it really comes down to who can get that second spot and really help their team try to come out on top in the team rankings and the team score. And here's really a good test to see how you're going to do when it comes to states, because states is very similar competition-wise. It's a pretty packed race, 17 runners.
There'll be runners all over the track because there's a big spread here, ranging from basically 10:59 to 13:15.
And this is one of those strategic races where you want to get out and plant yourself in position. But if you don't get into the spot that you quite want to be, you definitely can work your way to that spot throughout the race. One of the toughest parts in these distance events is staying strong in that middle part, and you know this as a distance runner, but staying strong in that middle and then really trying to close hard.
Yeah, because you never know. You never know where the breaking point is of the people you're running against. You know, just keep kind of forcing it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we saw it last year. We saw it last year with David Vorbach and Forrest, who was on here earlier. They kind of took it out from the gun, and then we had a group behind consisting of Eli Bosch Dining, who's going to be in the 2 mile next for the boys, myself, and a couple other guys who really kind of gunned it out, and that's something that we very well could see here, depending on what happens, on how if Trudell wants to just take it from the gun and go for it, or what she's planning on doing. She looks like she's kind of just relaxing right now. So
I'd like to see Callie Coffin get out there, get a lead, and start feeling comfortable again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then, because she really is the fastest of the bunch here. She just needs to get back there.
She just needs to have one of those
back
races.
on the horse.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's same thing with Jeffrey Allen. Very comparable. Is like just get on the horse and go, and then they could have a huge race. So
it's always easier if you've already done it before.
Yeah, because you know you can do it.
Yep.
But we're looking at, we have like Callie Coffin out front. It looks, followed by Addison Cox of Cole Brown, with a group of about 4 right behind, with a little straggler off the end. Going into the second lap, pretty smooth and consistent, and let's see if they can hold it together through the middle part.
Second, 23.26 from Exeter, Marshall Burns. Second, 23.19, also from Exeter, Jack McSweeney.
They're moving along pretty good right now also.
Yeah.
You know, they got
The distance races are very deceiving to the viewer's eye, because it looks like they're just casually going out and they're just relaxing, but when you're actually in the race and in the competition, it's a lot faster and it's a lot harder. And the real gauge is looking at the athlete's face. You look at a couple athletes' face and you can tell if they're really ripping it right now, if they're relaxed and controlled, or if they are kind of slogging it. We still have that group of 5 girls up front, slowly trimming down, but it looks like those 5 are going to be the ones that are kind of staying together up front. We have Coffin still out in the front, looking smooth and looking pretty strong.
So I don't even see Chloe Trudell in there.
That's what I'm saying. I was wondering the same thing.
No, because that's the other 2 Sowetan girls. Zlotnick and...
That's what I was curious about. So it looks like Trudell might have scratched from the race, possibly saving herself for another race. Or
oh, I know what it is. She's I believe she's running in tomorrow night.
Is she running tomorrow at Loucks?
Yep.
That's what that makes sense.
Yep. I remember.
So yeah, she's saving herself for that.
I remember getting that memo.
So that's good. I mean, like, good for her. She's going to go out there and compete with some of the best.
Yep.
And it's going to be good for her. Hopefully she can drop that seed time down a little bit lower and really kind of put herself in the spot. But that means that this is putting the race really in Coffin's hands. She has the ability to go and take this. Let's see if she wants to do it. And she's kind of pulling away right now. Addison Cox leading the chase pack behind.
You get Braccio, Morgan Orcott, Megan Cross.
And after that, it's really spread out, really chilled out.
So she's working it good. That 5 right there.
Yeah.
If they can all hang on to one another, they'll get some good times tonight.
Looks like they're slowly trying to close the gap on Coffin up front, and it could actually work to Coffin's benefit if she allows them to take some laps for her. Running it from start to finish is not the easiest way to do it, so allowing the chase pack to take some laps might go to her benefit.
Braccio's making a little bit of a move on the outside, coming from the back pack of 5.
Still very crammed at the back of that pack, but it's not too bad. We see Coffin still up front, kind of getting back that little lead that she had. Addison Cox still in second. And all of them look pretty smooth. You look at Concord, Orcutt, kind of using those arms a little bit more than she may like, but she's still hanging in there. And now we see Coffin really trying to make a move down the straightaway. We're really trying to push the pace a little bit here. We're seeing Addison kind of let a couple of the other runners take the lead and try to work with them a little bit, conserve some energy.
So they went through the mile in 5:36. So we're looking at 11:12.
And if they were able to keep that, that's a big PR for all of them. So they're on pace for a great race. And really just hope that they can work together and keep it going.
The back four keeps switching positions, but no one's taking over
Coffin.
Someone's going to make a move to her and say,
someone has to, yeah.
You know, because you don't know what her breaking point is.
No. Well, and that's the thing is I believe now that Trudell's not in this and she is racing tomorrow, Coffin has a great opportunity to go out and showcase her skills and her speed and endurance, but it's still wide open for anyone else.
Orcutt seems to be falling off the pace just a little bit.
And like we talked about last lap, she looks like she is fatiguing a little bit, using those arms a little bit more than she might want to at this point in the race. But we still have a close chase pack of 3 behind Coffin.
These next few laps are really going to make or break this race here. I just hope they keep putting the pressure on it. Cross looks pretty...
Megan Cross looks good.
She looks pretty comfortable.
Followed by Ariana Bracchio.
Addison seems to be falling off the group now, too.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that she might have gone out a little bit too hard and tried to lead a little bit too much of the beginning of the race. But let's see if she can kind of keep that gap between those 3 and her pretty even through these next couple laps, and she might be able to close. And right about there's a good amount of coaches on that turn. They like to stand there. You can see Tim Cox from Co Brown likes to stand there and really give out the splits and kind of tell you exactly what you do. And you can see Addison seems like she's trying to close that gap, try to hitch back onto that group, as Coffin does not have as big of a lead that she did have.
She's hanging on, though. She's just got to link back on and know that's the race. She's probably not going to do any worse than 4th, so you might as well.
And she's doing well right now. She's closing the gap slowly, and you don't want to use too much energy trying to catch back up. But it does look like Coffin's trying to pick the pace back up a little bit and trying to drop these other 2 when it comes to Megan Cross and Ariana Bracchio. But Coffin looks good, and so does Cross. They look very strong. Looks like Bracchio is starting to tire slightly. You can see the chin coming up slightly.
Yep, she's moving
but she's starting to try to go. Maybe pushing the pace for her is going to help her kind of recover, but they're going 3 wide.
Cross looks the most comfortable in that bunch.
Cross looks very smooth right now.
She's got to assert herself a little bit and get a little gap here.
We got 2 laps to go. And now we have a new leader, and it looks like Coffin could possibly drop off if she's not able to link up with Bracchio. So we're gonna see if she's able to link back up. But the pace is definitely starting to pick up going into these final 2 laps, and Cross is definitely looking really good right now. Bracchio's just staring at her back right now, trying to just hang on. And Addison Cox is not far off. She hasn't lost a ton, and she's looking like she might be able to kind of work her way back up and catch Coffin if Coffin starts to drop more.
Orcutt's about to be swallowed up by the other. Sauhegan.
Zlotnick.
Now it's starting to spread a little bit. So Megan Cross got a little bit of a lead. Maybe 3 or 4 yards. She seems to be opening it up pretty good now.
And she's looking really smooth going into this last lap. Bracchio starting to tire, but she has 1 lap to go. Let's see if she can piece it together and hold on to that 2nd spot. Maybe make a move trying to close that gap for the 1st spot. We can't count out Megan Cross, who's coming up, try to battle back for that 2nd position.
No, Megan's in first. Right?
Oh, my bad. Yeah, Megan Cross is in first. My bad. We were looking at Coffin, Callie Coffin, trying to battle back and get second, that second position. And Addison Cox holding on to that fourth spot. So it looks like this is going to be your top four. It looks like it could finish the way it is, but we'll see if any of them have some crazy kicked out with their hiding.
I think Callie Coffin might have a little bit left in the tank for second, but
Yeah, I mean, Brachio is looking pretty tired right now. You can see that her arms are coming up, and she's kind of slouching over a little bit, but who knows? Coffin looks like she's starting to close the gap, and Cox is really trying to really open up right now and see if she can finish this race.
well, Megan Cross is going to have a pretty good day.
It's going to be a nice PR for her.
In the final stretch, it's Megan Cross picking an academy.
Yeah, she looks good, huh?
She looks really smooth right now. See Brachio kicking it in right now, followed by Coffin and Cox closing.
I think second and Jack.
Rocio 11-17.
So Cross took that in 11-13. Brachio was 11-17. Coffin 11-18. Cox 11-19. It's all 1 second apart right there. Zlotnick 11-28.
Some big PRs.
Jordan of Exeter 11-33. Orcott 11-37.
Some big PRs.
Yeah, a lot of.
I mean, you look at Jordan from Exeter, 11:33 coming into this race. She ran 12:03. It's 30-second PR. This is the kind of stuff you love to see.
Some nights you catch it just right. Look at the flag, not even moving.
No, this is perfect. Especially for the 32 where you're trying to use.
But then if you look at those trees up there, you see the wind moving. So it tells you that this place has got a really nice wind break.
And that's why I do. This is why I believe this is my favorite track in the state, because you come here and yes, you know that there's some wind and you would think there's more coming off the road, but when you actually get down and you're actually racing, you realize that it's a pretty well protected area, and you're able to really go out there and not have to worry about the conditions taking a toll on you compared to some other tracks. For example, my home track, Co Brown, the wind is really bad on that back straightaway and that third and fourth turn. So it's nice to not have to worry about the conditions when you're racing. So going into the boys 3,200 meter run, which also should pan out to be a good race, led off by Eli Balch-Dining from Concord, followed by Gagnon from Pinkerton, David Cook from Concord, Clark from Memorial, Kasich from Co Brown, Luke Brennan from Pinkerton, Holden from Salem, Prince from North, Peyton from Merrimack, Sullivan from Exeter, Mackey from Co Brown, Hogland from Londonderry, Sylvester from Co Brown, Young from Londonderry, Sheedy from Dover, Murphy from Concord, Boneyman from Dover, Ellis from Merrimack, Shade from Sauhegan, Maddock from North, Bosley from Salem, and to finish it out, Steiger from Pinkerton. So now we look at this race, and this was even more crowded than the girls' race. We have 22 runners, and this is one of those races that you got to kind of get out and get in your spot, but you have to pay attention to the other runners and make sure you don't get tripped up like we have seen once in the Andrew.
So you know who has the record at this one? 3,200 meters?
Is it Forrest?
No, he's probably like 7th.
Really? I don't know that.
Maybe not even that high.
I know this is a fast
It's a Concord
track, so
kid.
Really?
Yep.
It's not you.
9:18. I didn't go to Concord. Antoine Geyser.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
9:18.
Where'd he end up?
I think he went to Franklin Pierce.
Okay. That's fast, 9:18.
Yep, he was an African kid. He was fast. And then second fastest time was another Concord kid, B.J. Smith.
Okay.
Who was a 9:19 guy in high school. 9:17 actually, I think.
So Concord likes to perform here. Yeah, I mean, looking at the seed times, Balch-Dining has a pretty comfortable advantage over Gagnon, but Gagnon's always a warrior. He likes to battle it out, and I believe those two are the ones that are just going to take it from the gun, as we can kind of see right here, and they're just going to go for it. But the battle for third is really open for anyone. You look at David Cook, Evan Clark, Luke Kazik, Luke Brennan, any of those guys can really just pop a PR and really get up there and race. So we're coming around. You have Gagnon leading it off with Bosch Dining right behind, followed by a group of 4 of them. Kazik moving up.
Gideon's right there. I mean, he's run some fast times
Gideon's
himself.
right there, yeah. And really trying to conserve your energy in the beginning. You get out hard in the first about 100, 150 meters, get in your position, but you got to relax. You got a long race ahead of you, and don't want to exert it too much too early.
You know, Gagnon and Eli have both run in the 930s before, so.
And this is the track that last year they both ran pretty well. I know Eli, Meet of Champions, he was in that group pack with me chasing after Vorback and Mckenzie. So we know what he has in store. We've seen what Gagnon can do, competing with some of the best in the state. So should be a good duel between those two.
Gagnon never used to like to lead, but lately he's been doing some leading. Indoors this year, he got DQ'd. You know, he stepped off the track when they kind of got bunched up when they caught up with the pack that were lapping. But in reality, he did run an 8:51.
Which is fast.
Yeah.
It's fast. I mean, and we know what Eli can do. So I
it's
think
basically a 9:31, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So they both have that low 9:30, if not faster, times. So. As we see, looks like Sean Holding going around Luke Kazik going neck and neck right there for that third and fourth spot, followed by Gideon in fifth.
The thing about the 2 mile is you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Really?
It really, you know, if you want a fast time, you kind of got to force it a little bit.
And I always tell everyone that runs the 2 mile, always ask about it. You're pretty much running your mile pace for 2 miles. You're going out and you're running hard. And it's not like you can just cakewalk the middle laps. You're grinding in those middle laps, and those 2 laps, those final 2 laps are pretty much the 800. You're hitting a wall, and you got to just grind it out. And that's where you make or break your race and your season, really. If you can get through those middle laps, if you can get to lap 7, lap 8, the adrenaline starts to kick in, and you can really close out, but you got to get through those middle laps.
So they came through in about 3:33.
We have Gagnon and Bosch Dining, followed by Kazik.
So they're setting themselves up right now to run a sub 9:30. We'll see how long that lasts.
We have a good pack. You have
9:28 pace.
Holden, you have Gideon, you have Mackey from Co Brown, who definitely can run up with Kazik. So it's
starting to pick up now. You can see the pace picking up.
You can tell if you look at David Cook and Mackey in the back. They got to slowly start turning the gears just to kind of hang on to that pack. It's going to be best for them if they can just hang on and go for the ride. You might not be able to hang on for the entire time, but it will definitely lead them to a PR. Kazik looking pretty good in that third spot, but he's got to stay controlled. He tends to go out pretty hard, and it works to his advantage most times. But we'll see if he can hold on in this one. Gideon right on his shoulder, with Holden right there. And at this point, Mackey's got to pretty much look at David Cook and be like, hey, let's just do this. Those two very well could be working together for a couple of laps here.
Results, girls, 3,200-meter run. 6, 11, and 33.23 seconds from Exeter sophomore Grace Jordan.
And we still have that same top 5. Pretty strung out, pretty relaxed, and a nice line right there. Gagnon looking strong, Bosch Dining looking really strong. Kazik looking good, Gideon, Holden, followed by the 2 chasers, and Cook and Mackey.
Bosch Dining just made a move to go to the front.
Followed by Kazik.
Yep.
It's ambitious, but I like it. I like to see this kind of.
I want a little infighting for these for these middle laps.
I really do. I like to see the guys go out and not just stay content. Go out there and fight for it and really battle for the spot that you want. I know the top 2 guys look like they're pretty comfortable compared to the rest of the field, but Kasich and Gideon can get right up there and move.
Gagnon's going right back to the front.
And these are the little surges. That's where it tends to be, that straightaway right there. You see Gagnon goes out, slows down a tiny bit. Bosch Downing gets right back up on his shoulder, and Kasich slowly works his way back up to him. So he could be in for a fast race right here if he can hold on. Looking good. And that area right there that they just went through is key to these races with your team and your coaches really cheering you on and motivating you to get you through these tough laps that they're going through right now.
I'll be surprised if Luke Kasich doesn't steal this race.
He's looking good right now, I'll tell you.
The other guys are doing all the fighting amongst each other. They don't even know he's there, probably.
No, and I don't think that's the thing. Is
Gideon's getting back into it.
Gideon and Kasich have an advantage right now when it comes to sneakiness, because the other 2 are definitely thinking about each other, thinking about what they're going to do. They're planning out what they want to do for these last couple laps. They're not thinking about two other runners coming out of nowhere. And, I mean, right behind them you have the 5th place pack. You have Cook leading it with Mackey right on him and Holden who dropped back, but it looks like those 3 are going to keep cruising with a pack following them close behind. And you just see Bosch Dining moving straight up to his shoulder. He's going to slow down just a tiny bit to cut back in. But they're moving right now.
Second, 40 feet 10, also from Merrimack, senior Ben Eichmann. And the Merrimack Invitational champion, 43 feet.
No one wants to make a serious move here. But I would say Kasich's got to make some type of move if he wants to survive this.
You can see right now the pace is starting to pick up slightly as Bosch down and goes to his shoulder. One of those 2, if they want to take this race and put it away, they got to start moving pretty soon, because if it comes down to a kick, we know both of them can kick, but if you want to really solidify your win and make sure it happens, you see right now, you got to move.
Little space is getting opening between Kasich and those guys. He's got to hang on.
Because Gideon's right behind, and it's possible that Gideon could try to make a move.
It's going to be a dogfight.
It's going to be. I mean, Kasich is doing extremely well right now at this point in the race. I don't know how many people actually thought that this was going to be his position, but he's looking really good, and he's got to just keep that chin up, breathe, and keep moving, keep those arms down, and focus. You know those 2 up front are going to keep battling it out.
BD took the lead. 8:24.
You got 1 to go going into the final lap. Gagnon's looking tired. He's not really moving those arms like he has been. And Bosch Downey's just got to keep that chin down, focus, and move, and he has this. See Luke Kasich really opening up that 3rd spot. He looks like he's going to be pretty safe unless Gideon wants to make a move around now to start working his way up.
Second, 10 feet, Skylar Bomba Alburn, and the Merrimack Invitational champion, tying the meet record, 10 feet 6 inches from the Londonderry.
Eli's got to hold on.
Eli's looking good. Gagnon looks like he's going to try to close, but Eli has a nice gap, a nice safety net.
3-second lead right now.
And it looks like Luke Kasich's really turning on. He's going to that last gear. Great to see for someone that hasn't always had a kick. He's really turning it on right now. He's closing the gap even on Gagnon right now.
Eli's got a good one going. See if he can break 9:30. Just going to be shy, looks like.
It's going to be low.
9:31. Good job.
Looks like Luke Kasich just PR by about 11 seconds possibly with a 38 high. So we have first place with Eli Bosch Nutting at 9:31.25. Second place is Gagnon from Pinkerton at 9:34.34. Top 3 rounds out with Luke Kasich at 9:38.91. Great for a sophomore. 9:44.66 is North. Concord 9:45.69. And we're going to pull up the rest of them. We have Pinkerton 9:50, Mackey of Cole Brown at 9:54, and Sullivan from Exeter at 9:55.
A lot of sub-10s, huh?
A lot of sub-10s. You had going into this race, you had 5 guys that were sub-10, and now you look at it and you have right there, you have 7, 8, if not more, going sub-10. So great race all around, and great finish by Eli Bosch-Dining to put it away against Gagnon.
Good quality run.
So now we're going to move into the girls 4x400 meter relay. There's going to be 3 heats of this. And it is going to consist, the first heat is going to consist of Salem, followed by Exeter, Pinkerton, Portsmouth, South, and to round out the sixth team is Memorial.
Results, boys shot put. 6th.
And as a 3,200 meter runner, I know you're pretty tired and you're pretty beat after your race, but these relays are the ones that you really kind of get fired back up to go and cheer on your team, and they're a good way to finish out the exciting day and the really perfect weather that we've had. You can't get much better than running a relay under the lights. So.
3rd, 46.5 for Merrimack, junior Jared Dyer. 2nd, 47.7 for Londonderry, senior Patrick Haggerty. And the Merrimack Invitational champion, 48 feet half inch from the Exeter Blue Hawks.
Yeah, they had a good race there. I was happy with that. Made the most of it. Put it out there. Good things happen. Not many guys had bad races there.
No. And it wasn't the most stacked race like we saw with the 800, but to see that many good performances and that many PRs, and not by a little, but by a lot,
right,
by a good margin, was something that was fun to watch.
They kind of did it the right way, too. They went out. Wasn't a killer pace. No. They just kind of stayed even.
Yeah, and it wasn't one of those ones where you see a couple of guys out front that's take it and go. It was one of the ones that everyone kind of worked together, and the people that knew that they wanted to run fast would hang on to that front group. So.
A lot of little battles in between. When you have those little battles in between, that's what forces the pace.
And those are the type of races that you really get those breakthroughs mentally and physically that can propel you to have future PRs and set you up for the years to come.
Right.
And like I said before, this is the first of 3 heats of the girls 4x400 meter relay. And we are off the first heat, and this looks like it could be a pretty fast one. Times ranging, times ranging from 4:06 by Pinkerton, which really outweighs the rest of the field. The next closest time is 4:12 of Portsmouth. So if Pinkerton runs like they can, they're looking pretty comfortable in securing this victory. But anything can happen. Handoffs, you can drop a baton. Anything can really happen in these relays. So we're coming around the first turn, the last turn going into the straightaway before the handoff. We have Salem in first. With their seat time of 4:16, they're hoping they can smash that and go after Pinkerton and hopefully get a good PR by doing so. First handoff, looking pretty smooth. Pinkerton definitely closing the gap. And we're going to see what's going to happen. We have, looks like Portsmouth in third.
Pinkerton's stacked, though, huh?
They are. We've seen their sprint squad really do what they had to do today, and they're going to see if they can round it out. But I'll tell you right now, Salem is looking good.
They look real good right now.
They look really good in right now. It's almost a shock to Pinkerton, and that's one of the things is you come in here being the heavy favorites. You might go in there with a little bit of swagger, kind of knowing that you're on top, but then if a team comes out like this, it can really mess you up, and you can see they're even getting gunned down right now. Coming around the final turn, we're really seeing the gap close. Let's see if Salem can hold on and really try to keep that lead, but you're seeing Pinkerton and Exeter really closing that down, and they look like they are going to get her.
Yep.
Exeter's going to take the lead, followed by, looks like Salem might hold it in the second position. We'll see how these handoffs are. Exeter's good. Salem wasn't too bad, and they're pretty close. Pinkerton's in third. And Pinkerton's really going to have to work if they want to get back up to that
Yeah, their
competitive
handoff,
spot.
their handoff wasn't so good.
No.
It's, you know, you lose all the momentum if you come to a stop.
Yeah, really.
It just, I mean, they're falling back hard now.
I know a lot of people think that handoffs are really for like the 4x1 or any of those faster races, but it really does matter in all relays, as you can see right now. Pinkerton went from being competitive in that first spot to 4th place and possibly going to be losing that to 5th place, as you see. Looks like we have South coming around the corner.
Well, it's a good battle for first.
Exeter and Salem.
Yep.
Coming around that final turn.
Salem looks like it's going to take it back.
Going into the final handoff. Let's see what Salem can do. And their seed times are very similar, 4:16 and 4:15. And Salem looks like they're going to hand off in the first spot. Good handoffs on both teams. Almost a slight interference on Salem's part, but they pulled it back, so it's going to be close coming around the corner. Exeter just got to hang on to that turn. They don't want to make a move too early, and they're cruising right now. It looks like they're going to have big PRs for both their teams.
Good job. You look good. Good, strong.
Looks like Salem's starting to pull away right now. Exeter's starting to feel a little bit of the fatigue of going out too hard in the beginning. Salem's looking really strong right now. As we see, Pinkerton is back and forth trying to battle back for that 3rd spot. But it looks like Salem is going to run away with this one. And a surprising pop-up race. Let's see if they can hold it together. Exeter is looking not too bad. We're going to see if they can close it.
Wow, he looks good.
It's going to be tight. I mean, Exeter is definitely closing.
If I can get to the finish.
And
wow.
Able to
406.
hold on. And that's a big PR. They came in at the seed time of Pinkerton, and that is a
405.66 for Salem.
that is almost a 10-second PR for Salem.
Exeter 406.38. Pinkerton 413.41.
That is over a 10-second PR.
South 413.68.
So we just saw an 11-second PR and a 10-second PR in the final girls race of the one of the final girls races of the evening. So now we're going to move into the second heat of the girls 4x4, where we have 4 teams, starting off with Souhegan, followed by Co-Brown, Dover, and Concord. And again, we look like we have a team that looks like they're pretty
Was that your
ahead.
best, Gideon? Was it your fastest ever? Good job.
We're talking to Gideon, who just ran the
All right.
3,200 meter. But yeah, so looks like Co-Brown has a pretty comfortable lead, about 6 seconds or so, a little bit 6.5 seconds over Dover, the next closest team. But as we just saw, Pinkerton came in with a 6-second advantage, and they struggled to have good handoffs and just perform in general. So. We're about to kick off the second heat of the girls 4x400 meter relay. And we could still be seeing some pretty fast times that we just saw, an 11 and then a 10-second PR in the first heat. And we're off with Concord up top, Dover 1 in, followed by Co-Brown and Souhegan. And not much is changing right now up front. You still have Concord leading and going into the turn, followed by Dover. But Co-Brown is starting to make a move going into it. Looks like they're going to have the advantage coming out of this turn, going into the straightaway for the first handoff, unless anything changes. But it's looking pretty good. You have Sam LeMay in first. Looking pretty strong going around the corner. Let's see if she can kind of ramp it up, go into another gear, and really try to increase this lead. She's looking very good going down the straightaway. Going into handoff. And that was a standstill handoff. Not a very good handoff at all by Co-Brown. but they obviously can afford it with the gap that they have, and they still have a pretty good gap right now. And it could be a lot bigger if they had a better handoff.
Yeah.
It was a standstill handoff.
Kind of like the wrong hand.
Yeah.
Wrong hand to the right hand.
But they're both freshmen.
Yeah.
It's just experience. Obviously, they haven't had a ton of experience, but you can see, looks like Concord coming around the corner, closing that gap hard on Co-Brown's Libby White. But we're gonna see what if Concord can hold that and surpass Co-Brown, or if Co-Brown's gonna be able to hold on to it and beat him down the straightaway. Looks like Concord is starting to tense up, exerting a lot of energy to catch up with Co-Brown, but they definitely closed the gap and made it a race. Co-Brown starting to increase that gap slightly, going down the straightaway. And they're going in to hand it off.
She held it off pretty good, huh?
That was a lot better of a, yeah, she held her off very well, and that was a lot better handoff, increasing their lead by a little bit more.
I don't know if Concord got the memo.
Is that Concord in lane 2 right now?
Yeah, I was going to say they didn't get the memo that they can cut in. A lot of kids make that mistake. It's like, come on, guys.
I know. It's little things like that can make or break a PR or even a podium finish. But yeah, so they handed it off. So you had 2 freshmen starting off the race for Co-Brown and handing it off to Abigail O'Connor, a junior. And looking pretty good. Concord's definitely closing the gap like they did last time, but this is about the point right here where they actually hit the wall and couldn't do much on the straightaway. So we're going to see if they have something on this leg.
Concord has no Grace Devaney tonight in the 4x4.
And that's definitely starting to show a little bit as Co-Brown's doing the exact same thing they did on the last leg, is really starting to gun it down that straightaway, pull ahead just enough that they can afford a little bit of a handoff mess up. And as we hand off to the junior, Sophie Laird, so you have 2 freshmen and 2 juniors, and Sophie Laird leading off, and she is the one actually in the 100-meter that did fall down and got back up and went and finished 3rd. So obviously she's doing well enough to compete in the 4x4, and she's looking pretty good right now, followed by Concord, who is just going to try to finish out in the 2nd spot.
And welcome to the qualifiers club, Megan Conway.
Nicole Brown's increasing their lead by quite a bit.
And Concord will hold on for the 2nd spot, and it looks like Dover is in 3rd, if I am correct. So it looks like that's going to be your top 3, unless we see a move by Souhegan right here, which is possible. Looks like they are coming on a little bit hard, but we're going to see. It looks like Dover might be able to hold on going down the final straightaway. And Dover holds on for the 3rd spot. So Co-Brown led it off at 422.71, followed by Concord at 429.4, Dover at 434.69, and Souhegan at 436.55. Going to the final heat of the girls 4x400 meter relay, we have Nashua North, followed by Merrimack, Londonderry, and to round out the girls 4x400 meter relay, we have Alvern.
Heat 3, girls 4x4. Nashua North, Merrimack, Londonderry, Halvern.
So this one is a lot closer in the. It looks like we're a lot closer in the top 3 in this one. Our top seeded is Merrimack at 434, followed by 2 pretty close teams in Nashua North and Londonderry at 436, and then to round it out we have Alvern at 445. So let's hope that these ladies can pull together some PRs all around and
BD, good
let's
job.
have a good race.
That's a great race.
Hey, great last couple laps. That's how you do it. Just talking with our boys 3,200 meter winner, Eli Bosch Dining.
First reminder, ladies and gentlemen,
As we just
when you're leaving Merrimack
started off
School,
our
please
last
do
heat of the
not
girls
be
4x400 meters.
on your way out. If you finished in the top 6 in any events, please report to the press box to pick up your awards. to recycle all balls in cans as well.
Looks like Londonderry starting to make a move and kind of pull away, followed by Nashua North.
For those teams who did not
And
run
North,
on Tuesday because of the weather,
And then Merrimack coming up behind them. So
those beats have to be made up at some point.
Nashua North with a slight advantage over Londonderry going into the final turn of the first leg.
The Bulge will take place on Saturday at South.
Merrimack's hoping they can kind of close that gap a tiny bit more.
Engagement in that battle.
And
Good
looks like
race.
it's going to be pretty close.
Good
Yeah.
job. Good job.
Thank you.
Now it's a lot closer to Nashua North and Londonderry going into the handoff. Handed off a little bit. Nashua North had a better handoff a little bit earlier compared to Londonderry. Londonderry's handoff was not as good, but still close enough. And it looks like it's going to be pretty close coming off the turn.
I was 9:59.
It was 20, like, yeah, 21.
21.
Stay in school. Talking to a bunch of the athletes that won awards today, but we go back to the race and we see that Nashua North is still in the lead, followed by Londonderry and Merrimack close behind. So this is a pretty close race compared to what we've seen before. And going around the final turn of the second leg, we have Nashua North and Londonderry duking it out. We're going to see who can get the advantage going into the third handoff. Looks like Nashua North is going to be able to hold them off unless Londonderry can turn it into another gear and kind of pull away. Merrimack has closed the gap, and now it is a three-team race for this top position as Merrimack's swinging out wide. And let's see how these handoffs are. Nashua North's not too bad. Londonderry's was pretty good, and same with Merrimack. So it's really anyone's race as of right now. We're going to see how this leg is. And, again, let's hope for some PRs.
Boy, that girl's got a long stride in second place, huh?
Yeah.
She's all legs.
Second place is looking pretty strong at Londonderry. Going to try to make a move and try to get to the outside and try to cut back in going into the turn, which she does very well. And she's hoping that she can hold that off and continue to go around this last turn going into the final handoff. And she is really increasing her gap. As you can see, Nashua North is starting to struggle a tiny bit. And we haven't even seen third place yet, so they've really turned it on and burned Merrimack. Looking really good, and it looks like Londonderry's going to try to run away with this one if this handoff goes well. And she went a little bit early, but still had enough room to manage. As we see, she has a nice, plentiful gap from Nashua North, and Merrimack is hoping they can gun down Nashua North on this final leg.
These Londonderry girls, unbelievable, huh? Strides.
Yeah, really. Londonderry has about a 50-meter lead right now over the over Nashua North and Merrimack, and it might honestly continue to grow looking at the way that they're running. Just Londonderry looks so smooth right now, really using their full stride potential, and a lot of potential in that group right there.
You got a pretty good time going, too.
Coming around the final straightaway, looking pretty good.
Would they come in with a time?
They came in with a time of 4:36. It looks like they're going to crush that one.
So 422.29. 422.35, corrected.
422.35, which is a big PR coming in. They came in running 4:36, so you're talking about a 14-second PR, followed by 4:31 by Merrimack, which actually did edge out Nashua North. And Nashua North actually dropped to fourth. So Alvern came back and got third, followed by Nashua North at 4:35 flat. We're going into the heat one of the boys 4x400 meter. We have Memorial, followed by North, Exeter, Pinkerton, Dover, and closing out with Merrimack. And there's not a clear-cut favorite in this one, as you have two teams running 3:28 in Exeter and Pinkerton. So we're going to see if those teams are going to duke it out. But you also have Nashua North right behind it at 332, so they could very well be right there.
Exeter put up at the Clipper Relays, they had a stacked team. I don't think it's so stacked tonight.
No, it was Winslow on that one.
Yeah, Winslow's on that one.
So he's not here tonight, so that could definitely play a part into it.
Radagonda
Okay.
is running in Laos tomorrow too.
Yep.
So I don't think he's
two
gonna-
of their starters right there already running tomorrow. So their time definitely is gonna take a hit with that, but don't count them out.
No, they still have other guys.
And that's one of the teams that just seems to be able to rebuild and have new guys kind of fill in every year or two. And they seem to be able to develop kids really well as you look back. You have Jackie Gone, you have Jake Winslow, as we just talked about. Some very fast runners.
I just get whatever they bring up from the tents. Let me see. What event again? Discus. One of the girls that were like 92, her team's like leaving. She's winning yesterday. No.
So how psyched were you guys when you won the national championships?
It was a very almost surreal moment. I mean, I've been a part of different championship teams going back to our days in Deerfield, but the fact that our team, the guys' team, had never won a national championship before, going there, we were all really antsy. We knew we had a shot at it, and to be able to go out there and the weather, we were in Pittsburgh, being out there and just going through the rain and the mud, the cold rain, it was incredible to see the guys go out there and fight, and you could tell that they were fighting for more than them. And to pull out the victory like that, it was great because Zach Panning and a couple of the other guys, Josh Steibel, a couple of the senior leaders, it was their last hoorah. So to be able to pull it out and get them one was incredible. And
you guys weren't the favorites either. Adams State and
Adams State was
Colorado Mines
favored, but Colorado Mines was right there, and there's one other team. And so we were so focused on having on Adams State that we almost looked over like Colorado Mines and some of the other teams. And then mid-race we were like, oh crap, like we got to pay attention to them. Forget Adams. It was kind of crazy. We just kind of switched and we started to panic. We were like, oh my God. But it was crazy too because in the beginning of the race it got restarted. Zach Panning actually fell down and got back up and was still able to finish second. So
we got Dover leading the way. That Moy is tough.
Yeah, he's very tough. Going in, it's going to be a pretty even handoff, and Dover actually stepped out of their lane in the handoff, hopping back in, and that allowed what looks like Pinkerton to hop back in, and looks like they're going to take the lead. But it's still a very close race. You see Nashua North right there battling up in the second spot, followed by, it looks like, is that Merrimack or Memorial? Memorial, it looks like. In that third spot, so Dover in fourth and Merrimack in fifth. Very close race all around. It's really still anyone's race if they can really pull it together. But the top three guys look really, really strong right now. Pinkerton coming around with a slight advantage over Exeter. And look at that kick taking off right now, really trying to extend that gap. But then you see Memorial really kind of putting it in together. And get into that second spot. Let's see the handoff. Good handoff on Memorial's part. And Pinkerton still has a nice gap right now, nice sizable gap. But we're going to see if they're going to start to close that. Exeter looks like they're slowly moving their way up, followed by Memorial.
It's a tight one.
Pinkerton and Exeter again going into the final turn of the second leg. The third leg, my bad.
Somehow you got to get out of that second lane.
Yeah.
You're just running a lot longer.
That's the thing. You almost want to tuck in, but it's so close. You see right now.
Zach Plaza of Pinkerton.
And this is where the handoff's going to come in key right now. We got to see.
Pinkerton's was pretty good. Current running for North.
Nashua North and Pinkerton battling back. And you see Currents, he just has raw speed. We talked about this earlier. Incredible speed on his part. And we're going to see if he can hold that on that back straightaway going around to the last turn. Now look at Pinkerton keeping it close enough to strike if he comes around that final turn.
Yeah.
But Kearns has had that speed since the day he came into that program, and I've raced against it, and I've seen it firsthand. He can move, but we've seen these Pinkerton guys, and you can see right now they're closing hard, and we're going to see if he can pass them on this turn. Coming around the straightaway.
Yep.
He's going to try to pull away right now, and that's exactly what he's going to do right now, pulling away. Kearns try to hold on and give a nice gap for a
He's got
second.
speed, but he ain't got that speed.
And that's just strength right there going through, and Pinkerton's going to take it away right there. Pinkerton at 331.
And, you know, Pinkerton had some other guys they could have put in there, too.
Yeah, they're so
the
interchangeable.
200 guy.
They're so
Salini.
interchangeable. And that's what's incredible. 'Cause they just can change out, like they're just different parts.
We actually don't have those instructions over here. Do you know for sure what place you got? No. Sorry. Hopefully soon we'll have it. Hi, you want to join hurdles?
So we're going to go into the second heat of the men's 4x400 meter relay. We have Sauhegan, Alvern, Concord, Co-Brown, and Campbell. And I'll be excited to see what my Co-Brown boys can do on this one. Looks like we're going to be at pretty full strength, so I'm hoping that we can see some pretty fast times. The fastest seed time going into this one is Concord by 1/10 of a second over Co-Brown at 3:39.14. And after those two, you have Alvern at 3:41. Looked like Sauhegan needed a baton, so now it looks like we're all set to go. And we are off in the second heat of the men's 4x400 meter run. Co-Brown on top, followed by, looks like, Concord, Alvern, and then Sauhegan. Concord's looking pretty good, catching up to Co-Brown, going into that turn, which is going to put them in ahead slightly. We're going to see if Dubois can hang on. He's the type of guy that likes to kind of sit behind someone and work their way up past that. So coming around the turn, I think he's going to want to try to just get up on his shoulder and see what he can do. But Concord definitely looking really strong coming around that turn. Alvern catching up. Let's see what they can do. And the Sauhegan following up that 4.
Eben Bragg leading the way.
Looking really smooth.
He reminds me of Sebastian Coe. He's just pure runner.
Dawson Dubois hands off to Colby Hoffman. Concord with a sizable lead over Co-Brown. Alvern going to overtake Co-Brown for that second position. And Sauhegan going to be slowly working their way up too. So as of right now, it looks like Concord is in a pretty comfortable spot if they can just keep the handoffs going and just stay strong. They should pull it out.
Still a lot of running to go, though.
A lot of running. Anything can change. Anything can change. You know.
Fisto's coming up next, and I imagine they'll close with Jackson Wilkes. So they have some good runners coming up.
Got some speed. Got some speed and got some talent. But you can see Sauhegan came from 4th to 2nd, and we're going to see if Colby Hoffman's really trying to reel it in. He's going to be able to try to pass that Sauhegan kid. A Sauhegan runner, and we're going to goes Concord first. Okay, handoff to Gavin Lewis from Co-Brown in 2nd. Sauhegan right on their tails. And we're going to see what they can do to try to reel in Fisto from Concord. Just look at Fisto, though. I mean, his stride, his arms. Just look at the turnover compared. If you can see along the edge, you see he's very quick. He's pop, 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 pop.
He ran his first mile the other day, and he ran at 4:39.
It's incredible.
Or 4:38. Just his first mile he's ever run in his life.
And you can't teach talent. And as Forrest was saying, he's a hard worker. You can't ask for much more. And he's coming around in a pretty comfortable lead over Co-Brown and Sauhegan. And he's looking like he's going to want to hand it off in a pretty comfortable spot. Going to try to make it a good handoff to Wilkes. They're going to take off, giving it to Porter from Co-Brown in 2nd. Sauhegan hands it off. Good handoff from them, too, followed by Alvern. And this should be a cakewalk for them.
People are like coming up and asking about like girls discus. Do you have any info on that? Okay, thank you.
Wilkes coming around the final turn with, looks like Cole Brown trying to reel him in. Might just be too much for them in the end, but definitely looks like Porter Higas is really turning it on right now, turning on the Jets and moving hard to try to get the best seat time they can going into divisionals and further. And Concord finishes in a fast time of 3:38, followed by Cole Brown in second, running 3:41, followed by Alvern, 3:48, and Sauhegan rounds out those four with a time of 3:48.84. This is a real duel at the end.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
So we're going into the third and final heat and the last race of the night, which includes Londonderry, South, Portsmouth, and Salem.
Next heat of the boys 4x4.
And the top seed in this one is South, Nashua South at 3:48.78, followed by Portsmouth at 3:50 flat, and Londonderry at 3:58 flat. So based off these last couple races, we should see some pretty fast times, possible PRs, and let's round out a great night of racing and competition.
Yeah, we saw a lot of PRs tonight. I guess tonight was the night to race.
Tonight was the night. All around, some guys that needed some fast times, guys and gals that needed some fast times to kind of get themselves going, build some confidence. They got that done, and it's great to see as an athlete that was once in the high school arena. It's great to see some young guns and some older guns out there competing to the best of their ability.
Have the high jump results. They're still like doing all the scores down there.
Oh, Londonderry looks pretty quick, huh?
Yeah, Londonderry looks like they're cruising right now. Moving right past Nashua South. So it looks like we only have three teams in this race. You have Londonderry moving up into the first spot, followed by Salem in the second position right now, and Nashua South rounding up to 3. Londonderry is going to try to run away with this first leg. But Salem is closing hard. And Salem's really going to try to close that gap, make it a little bit more of an even handoff and going into the second leg. Good handoff on Londonderry's part. Londonderry looking really good. That inside lane, they're going to cut in coming around, followed by Salem and South. South's going to try to close the gap on Salem, make it a competitive race for second. And Salem's trying to close that gap on Londonderry. Londonderry's looking strong, and we'll see if Salem can hold that gain and not die off like we have seen in some of the other races. Salem's looking really good right now.
They look real strong.
Really strong, and they're doing a lot to close that gap. But now it's all Londonderry. They're going to try to kick past. But Salem did a lot to close that gap. We're going to see what they have on the last two legs and see if they can do the same thing, work some of that magic, and try to make this a competitive last two legs.
You're like pretty confident. Yes. Okay. There you go. I got fourth in girls discus. Yeah, that's fine. As long as like you know what place. Yeah. Okay.
Pinkerton just looking very smooth. Really looking like they're trying to work that
Londonderry,
speed.
mate.
Oh, Londonderry, my
Londonderry.
bad.
Yep.
Get those two uniforms a
Yeah,
little bit
kind
mixed,
of.
but-
Yeah.
But Londonderry's looking smooth right now.
Okay.
But Salem's back doing their thing. They're trying to close that gap again.
Hi. What about?
And it's the same spot each time. There's a little bit of a gap in between the two.
That's Matt Griffin, a distance runner. Trying to hold him off. His long stride.
And he's going to hand it off into the final leg of the men's 4x400 meter, heat 3 in the final race of the evening. Londonderry looks like they're going to try to run away with it in the very last leg. And it looks like South is going to try to make a move on Salem right here.
Nice move. Look at that.
Right around him, and they're going to keep going.
We'll see if he can hold on to it.
And he's even closing the gap on Londonderry up there. Wow.
He's coming hard.
He's coming hard. Let's see if he can hold it, though. A lot of these races seem to take it out really hard for about 300 meters, but struggle on that last 100 meters. But he is closing really hard right now. But it looks like Londonderry is going to keep their lead and is going to kick down the straightaway to finish in a pretty quick time.
I'm sure the kid from South had a pretty good split there, though.
A very fast split.
He was way back.
In a time of 3:38.25 for Londonderry, followed by 3:41.23 with a very fast final leg by Nashua South. And closing out those three is Salem at 3:45.
What was the split on that last South? 52-78.
Josh, Jason Compo, C-O-M-P-O-H, National South, only a sophomore.
Jason Compo.
Wow.
Very fast split.
That was not the team, but we got a very
But yeah, so it was a great evening of competition and events all around. Saw a lot of PRs and a lot of great racing and a lot of grit out there. It's been great to come back and see this, and I always look forward to coming back wherever I am to be able to witness this. So this is Evan Tangway and
Jim Mckenzie.
we're going to sign out. Thank you.